First half of the game, I really need you to give us a recap of what happened.
It all started when our 6 heroes got superpowers from Mr. Charlie Ouroboros.
Good old Charlie Ouroboros.
Hunty, you've ruined my cosplay. That's my Halloween costume. I'm Charlie Ouroboros, dude. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the HGO podcast. I'm one of your hosts today, Ethan, and joining me, as always, are my good friends, Hunter and Kyle. Hey, guys. How you doing?
Dude, feels like we just talked the other day.
Feels like we've recorded 3 of these in under 7 days because we recorded the last one on a Saturday. So, you know, it's like we love podcasting here. We love it. You love to see it. But no. So it's been a long time coming for this one, you know.
Yeah.
I feel like we've given people
sure
enough time to
has.
play it. We've been done. Me and you have been done for fucking ever. We've been waiting for this little degenerate over here in the corner to be playing other games or whatever.
Listen, man. I'm sorry I wanted to play some other stuff in the meantime.
No, it's unacceptable.
I don't know how you do that. I mean, just like put down a story game and play like.
I just can't put down
Rollerdrome.
games, dude. I can't
Well,
put
it's not
down
like
games.
Rollerdrome's story was sitting there like stuck in my craw the whole time. Like, honestly, that game had more story in the background than I thought it would, but even then, it's not like it was super intensive or anything.
Nah, man. I'm monkey brain. I've got eyes on one prize, you know. Can't go
Exactly.
looking at the next shiny thing. I'm like, no,
Dude,
that's
this
not
whole
allowed.
summer was a whole spat of like everything after Somnium Files was a whole bunch of gaming ADHD for me because like Xenoblade, before Xenoblade even, I played Stray and didn't finish it until after I beat Xenoblade.
That game's like 50 minutes long. How did you not beat it?
How'd you not finish it?
I stubbed my toe in the middle of it or something.
I've had
I don't
showers
remember.
longer than Stray. What the fuck? Like...
Yeah, but even before Stray came out is when I started River City Girls, Cult of the Lamb, Neon White, all that stuff. Just in between, I like a whole bunch of unfinished things ever since I beat Somnium Files. It was goofy.
I mean, for me, Live Alive came out before Xenoblade 3 came out, though, like a week or two. And even I managed to finish that.
Oh, well, good for you.
I just had the
Thanks,
time
man.
of my...
It was the only other game I had this summer.
Dude, I just had the time of my life playing Splatoon 3. That's all I've done, dude. I patted everything else off. AI, Nirvana, blah, 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 waited. Dude. It could wait. I just happily just played this game for like 2.5, 3 weeks and put 110 hours into it and went, there we go, perfect, thank you. It's great fun.
You know, as one does.
You know, just casually, while having a full-time job. I basically no life to that game. Literally, it was like, eat, go to work, come back, play Xenoblade, go to bed, repeat. It was great. Time of my life. But anyway.
Eat, sleep, game, repeat.
That's it, yeah.
The classic.
I'm not a gamer because I have no life. It's because I choose to have many. Am I right, guys?
Because I get beat up in school.
Because I'm bullied and have no self-esteem. But welcome back to the HGO podcast, where every week we come to you and talk about the world of gaming. You can find us on podcast services by searching for Hot Gamers Only, or go to youtube.com/Hot Gamers Only, where you can look at our stupid faces each and every week. If you couldn't tell by the title, the thumbnail, the icon, what we've just been talking about for the past 3 minutes, it's time for the Xenoblade 3 spoiler cast.
It's time for the Stray spoiler cast.
Oh, can you believe the cat did the thing, bro?
I loved when the cat did the thing.
Dude,
all right, there's the Stray spoiler cast.
Yeah, there you go. Basically, oh my gosh, can you believe it? He fell in a hole. What's up with that? Crazy. Anyway,
He fell off.
Ratio, but no, yeah, this is it. We're finally here. Our Xenoblade Chronicles 3 spoiler cast. If you're new to the show, if you don't know how we do our spoiler cast, usually we start off with a semi-spoiler, basically a spoiler free. God, that's gonna be too many threes and threes in this year, dude. I can't help it. Anyway, spoiler free as possible. We're going to be going through our overall thoughts and opinions on this game while trying not to spoil anything, just so you can get basically our review now that we're fully done. So if you still have not yet to play the game, you can get our full impressions, kind of get what we're thinking, how we're feeling, especially after having some time off. So you're not going to get those honeymoon period impressions that you usually get from our first impressions. After that, you'll be warned to get the fuck out if you haven't played. We'll be going spoilers in depth. We'll probably go chapter by chapter because this... I don't know why. I feel like
There's a lot to unpack.
I feel like there's more spoilers in this game than there is in the previous two combined with the amount of stuff that eventually happens. I feel like it's very story heavy, so there's plenty to talk about. So if you're down for hanging out with us, I know a lot of you came to us from Spoilercast because you either watched the Persona Spoilercast or you watched the Xenoblade Definitive Edition Spoilercast or you've watched any of the Spoilercasts. Basically, all on podcast services, the Spoilercasts are our most favorite episodes. Like, they're most popular by far. Everyone loves the Spoilercasts, and we love doing them. So come along on this wild journey. I'm sure you have all been through a wild ride. I'm sure we'll talk about it very much in depth. But yeah, it's going to be a fun one. I always love doing these, especially when it's games like this that we feel like we've been waiting forever for, and it's finally here. I feel like this is the first big game for us that's like from a series that we care about, that we've covered from rumor, just a twinkle in our eyes, to being here and actually playing it. Because, you know, for most games, it feels weird, but for like the majority of the most games that we've talked about, they were already announced before this podcast started, and now we're kind of in this weird terrain where we're going through the motions. We're getting old. It's a boomer podcast now, guys. We're gonna have to make a new one just so that we can feel relevant again. But no.
It's also interesting because I mean, this is a game that like all three of us are able to talk about, whereas for a lot of our other spoiler casts, usually I'm the one sitting out on it because it's stuff like The Last of Us 2 or Horizon, which I have no interest in.
True.
Or in the case of Persona 5 Royal, the weird case, we pulled in a guest because only at that point Ethan was the one who beat it.
Yeah, that's weird as well, because now it's like everybody bar you has beaten that game, which is funny.
But I've seen two people beat it.
Yeah. You're the only one. You're the only one who hasn't beat it, but you're the one out of the main like cast of our show who was in that spoiler cast with me, which is I think is kind of funny in the way, because it's like everybody else beating it, been there, done that. Even Jack, who doesn't play video games, like he's beating it. So no, it's crazy. But yeah, come along for this wild journey. I'm sure it'll go on for way too long, and you'll be like, get to that point. Timestamps are in the description. I know what you sad bastards are like. Chapter 5 and 7 will be specified. There you go. Go and see us have a breakdown. Anyway, spoiler 3. Let's get started. I don't know. I want to go to you first, Cal, because you beat the game first. So, overall impressions of Xenoblade Chronicles 3 for the Nintendo Switch. What are they? How are you feeling after a month or so of having beaten it? How are you feeling?
That's a really good question. I feel like this is the best made Xenoblade game. Easily. I feel like no matter what background of RPG you're coming from, you'll be able to click with this game. Whether you know anything about the Xenoblade games or not, you're able to jump into this kind of independent of whatever knowledge you might have had or not had before. And I mean, if you do have past knowledge of the other Xenoblade games, or even the other Xeno games in the series, Gears and Saga, you're gonna be right at home in this, seeing a lot of the allusions to the past games.
I mean, I think I said it in the first impressions, and I still stand by it, that I solely, like, even after Splatoon 3's come out, even after everything that we've talked about in terms of Nintendo Switch, I still think that this is the best made game, first party game from Nintendo on Nintendo Switch. And what I mean by that is it's not everyone's cup of tea. It has its own problems. It has plenty of flaws, but from a quality perspective, there's nothing quite like it. Where a lot of the time when you're playing games on the Switch, I hate to have this opinion, but you're always kind of going, oh, what liberties have been taken, what shortcuts are we taking, what things have had to be cut. Where you play Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and you're like, wow, this menu system feels really fucking jank and I don't know why. Or you play it in portable mode and you go, oh my god, why is it running at 3 frames per second? What's happening? Why is Rex 2 pixels? That's weird. Whereas this game, it's just like, I think the first thing that blew me away was, one, the cutscene quality is really fucking good in this game and all that stuff, but that's Xenoblade standard. But I think the thing that blew me away first was the menu. And that's crazy for a game, because I infamously hate Xenoblade menus. They're awful. Xenoblade 1 and 2 have terrible menus, in my opinion. I think they're stupid. I feel like they don't know what they're doing. They're a bit crazy. When I just put, and it was like, everything was where I wanted it to be in the menu. The menu just worked. It was clearly presented. It was really well done. It has a really great song, and it's like everything is where you want it to be, and you don't have those issues like you have with Xeno 2, like you have with Xeno 1, where you're like, okay, I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to put a weapon on my blade. Where the fuck is the menu for that? Is it in character? Is it in blades? Where the fuck is it? Why is there a book here?
Which
What's
menu
happening?
has the sub menu I'm looking for?
Yeah. Whereas
Xenoblade X's menus were atrocious for that.
they're really, where this game, it's just like everything is there. It's like your quest log actually feels functional. It's like everything about it just feels like it works and everything's integrated. The way that you can just press a button and it shows you a trail of where you need to go, like a quest marker. You can turn it off and on with the toggle of the button. The fact that everything's got a hotkey for it and you can just hold L and hotkey to things. It's like, great feature. Pressing L and R takes a screenshot and it gets rid of the fucking HUD so you can have a good screenshot. Just little simple things like that. It feels like the most polished Nintendo first party game for a while. And I don't know if that's because it sat on a shelf for fucking months and they twiddled their thumbs and had time to finish it.
It was so good they could kick it up in a month in release date even.
That's the thing, is you don't see that nowadays. Is a game not only get pushed forward, but be as such a quality that it is. Like, it's genuinely surprising.
Especially for a game that was announced the same year it got released. This game was only announced in February of this year.
Yeah.
Nintendo have really learned to keep things on hold and only announce them when they're done, which I think is the big thing with Zelda. Is what they regretted is they showed that game way too early. And I feel like now they've very much... Splatoon as well was announced way too early. Whereas now I think they're trying to do it within a year.
Well, like
A year and a half?
I feel like we were...
So Splatoon?
We
That's
were
pretty
only...
long.
Yeah, well, I feel like waiting a year for a game to come out isn't that long. People are just...
Yeah.
It isn't, but
Whoa.
Nintendo's very much been on that kind of path right now, like with Fire Emblem and Xenoblade, where they are just like 6 months, go for it.
Metroid
6 months, get it out. And I'm like,
well,
I kind of prefer it, to be
Dread
honest.
specifically. Yeah, I like it more that way too, to be honest. The little shotgun approach with the marketing and all that.
But no, yeah. But to get back on track, like I say, I just feel like from a physical, from how that game is made, I feel like there's nothing on Switch that's quite like it, with how, like, the quality of it, with the menu system and just how everything just kind of works. It has its problems, but from like a functional standpoint, like for example, the cooking didn't work when we all fucking played the game, but the menu system is that good that I didn't even fucking notice it didn't work. It felt intuitive enough. I was like, this must be working. It feels good. Must be working.
Yeah.
What could possibly go wrong with that, you know? So now, from that point of view, I think it's a really well-made game, and I'm just kind of holding my time here because obviously we were going to go to Hunter for his opinions, but he is, I don't know. I think
being harassed by ghosts.
Being harassed by ghosts. I think that gang finally got him. You know, I think that's it.
Oh no,
the street gang.
Something fell outside and it upset the dogs.
Oh, fair enough. Well, I hope that finishes soon. I need to pass it to you, Hunter. That's the thing, because...
Can't you just, like, talk over the dogs?
Yeah, just talk over it. It's fine.
Okay, barking is on our end.
Yeah, barking's on our
end. Yeah, so I think this is probably my favorite of the three, pretty easily. The combat feels less geriatric than either of the other two to me. Like, I didn't feel like I was fighting for 3 minutes on a regular monster at any point in the game. And there, as far as the characters and cast go, there was not an obvious weak link in the main party, whereas opposed to in both games, there were characters I could not be bothered to care about. Whereas, like, you know, in the first game, Charla doesn't matter. In the second game, you could not pay me to care about Tora or any of the blades that they want you to care about that aren't Pyra. Yeah. Like, you know how they pretend that like Dromark and the other people matter, and I'm like, nah. He just screams Flora heals an aching soul, and that's kind of funny. But I don't care about
it. We'll get to that later.
Yeah.
And
yeah, on the note,
there was none of that in this game to me.
Yeah.
On the note of characters, like, this is the first Xenoblade game where I'd say that the main protagonist is probably my favorite character of the main cast.
Interesting. That's an interesting take. I really do like I agree with
Certainly
Hunter.
like him more than the other two.
Well, it's not
main
fucking.
Yeah.
It's not a fucking fair competition, is it? Really? Like, let's be
No,
real.
no.
My
it's like
opinion on Shulk has gone
saying
way
he's the
down.
Mine was never
It's like
high.
saying he's the least stupid looking of the three of them.
True. No, I 100% agree with you that this is my favorite cast in a Xenoblade game. I think it might be one of my favorite casts in a video game, period. I feel like what this game really did was in shrinking the cast down, as funny as it sounds, because even Xenoblade 1 had 7. It was like, this is 6. And obviously you've got the 7th hero slot, but I'm not fucking counting them because they're just running around. Riku and Minona,
Yeah.
I guess, technically, but I still don't really count them as part of, like, they show up when they need to.
Counts.
Yeah. They're not like Tora where they're constantly in your face forever. I feel like there's not a single weak link in this lineup. Whereas, at first I was really indifferent towards Noah. I thought that Noah was if I'm quite honest with you, boring character because he's almost kind of he's kind of like a cliche in a way where he is the character in a war that's questioning why do we fight, and it's almost like it's the basic bitch character of a war film, right, or a war story where it's like, why are we doing this? And it's like, for the most part, it is there. And I'd say it like easily for the first 3 chapters, Mio is carrying the fucking story in terms of the 2 protagonists, because Noah has fucking nothing to do with this story other than going, I'm an Offseer and I don't like fighting. But when he does pick up the pace and things get introduced that are later on, his performance is fucking incredible. And it's like,
Yeah.
It does what many JRPGs don't do, which is have characters fucking progress in their story and not stay put in the exact same cliche or role that they're always in. Say what you want about... I love Xenoblade 2. I love Xenoblade 2 with a passion. But the Zeke at the start of Xenoblade 2 is the exact
He's
same
exactly
fucking
the
person
same.
who is who is Zeke at the end of Xenoblade 2. Same with Morag. I love Morag to death. She's the same fucking person. Nia has a slight character arc, but really, it's just Nia's learned to be comfortable with herself. Same with Pyra and Mithra. They go through the exact same arc. And in the same way, so does Rex. He finally realizes who he is and finds something to live for. They're very basic, whereas it's like with Xenoblade 3, yes, you can kind of go point A to B. I don't want to spoil things really, so I'm not going to say those, but everybody has an interesting dynamic where it's like, even with someone like Tyon, who you would expect to just be the nerdy arsehole for the entirety of the video game, actually goes through an arc, and it's like those characters do not feel like the same characters when they reach the end. And to me, it just feels like a more well-rounded group of characters. There's not a single character in this game that I really hated from the main cast. There are a couple, we'll get to them, that I really don't like.
Not from the main cast, anyway.
In the side cast, but from a main cast point of view, like, I fell in love with all of them. Like, I genuinely do love each and every one of the main cast.
It's like the strength main party is like the strength that I usually only find in like RPGs from the Tales series. Like, that's one of the reasons I liked the couple of games that I played in that so much, was because the party dynamics in those games is really good.
I think what's also helping this game's cast is that it feels like every chapter will focus hard on one of your party members right at the end.
I think what's interesting about it is, and we'll get into it, is the story of Xenoblade 3 very much is the story of Noah and Mio. And I feel like the game knows that. And they don't do what other games in the series have done, like Xenoblade 1 and Xenoblade 2, where they go, hang on guys, time to pause that main storyline time, it's Tora's bullshit Moro Dame run time, okay? Or, hang on guys, pause for a second, Charlotte's got to go and save whatever Juju and fucking Gado. I'm surprised I remember their
Good job,
names.
Ethan.
Thank you.
Way to go, man.
Round of applause. I remember some names, ladies and gentlemen. It finally happened. 131 episodes. Finally remembered the name of a character from a game that I haven't played in 6 months. What a riot.
In a game he doesn't really like that much.
What a riot. I'm so proud of myself. But, you know, the game always takes a pause, whereas I feel like this game, that's constantly on the back burner, and they know that it's constantly on the back burner, but they don't just go, okay, let's pause for a second. It's like, no, that stuff's still going on, and we're still going to talk about it in every chapter, and that's still going to be the heart of this video game. But let's focus on Tyon for a second. Let's keep focus on Senna. Let's focus on Lance. Let's focus on Uni. Let's make sure everybody has... You don't get that short chain. You don't get the Persona feeling where you're like, I love Ryuji and Anne to death, but other than the story that I create, as in going to their social link, the story does nothing really for them past a certain point. You don't get that here. Everybody feels like they have their time and place and continue to be relevant throughout the story.
It's honestly really impressive. It's a really impressive work of storytelling juggling.
I feel like it's a really impressive story. I feel like it's a really impressive story that they told. That's the thing is, they could have gone for a very easy story here. They could have done the fan service game of people's dreams where when you hear the words Xenoblade 1 and 2's worlds have basically collided, you could have very easily have taken a big cop-out video game there and done, hey, here's Shulk and Rex, they're together. Let's,
You know, it's funny because in the whole run-up to this game, you guys were talking speculation, like what they were going to do as far as that goes. And the whole time I was just sitting there like, I really hope they don't do any of that.
And they didn't for the most part.
And they didn't.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy that they didn't because I feel like it's better. I feel like it's better for it.
And I feel like without
the game can stand on its own and not just be, you know, a legacy game.
Yeah.
And I honestly think it shines brighter for it. It's the most complex story. It is the story with the most heart, in my opinion. It's also what I kind of love about it is the Xenoblade trilogy is kind of the anti-trilogy. And what I mean by that is usually in trilogies, you'll always see it where the first one establishes the rules. The second one is the dark kind of, is usually like the darker sequel where it's usually like things go wrong or things usually happen. And then the third one is the return to hero. Yeah, is the return of the hero's arc. Everything goes well. And it's like, it's almost the opposite where yes, one still does set those scores. But the second one is this almost... Yes, it has its emotional moments, but it very much is like this kind of positive push of like, you know, friendship and everything prevailing through a dying world. Whereas 3 is fucking bleak, and it genuinely is. Like, it tackles with issues like life and the meaning of everything and what it's like and what you should do with the time you have left. And yet it still manages to end with this big triumphant kind of, this is it. Like, this could be the end of the, like... If they never touch these worlds again, and with whatever was Xenoblade is just completely separate from now on, it's a great send-off for those worlds. It genuinely is. But they still manage to tell its own story in its own world that's complex and emotional and has nuance to it, which for Xenoblade is a fucking triumph. Jesus Christ. And it's like, I'm honestly shocked at how much I love this game, because after not liking Xenoblade 1, I was like, was 2 a fluke? Was 2 genuinely a fluke? And it wasn't. I genuinely... At first I was like, is it the honeymoon phase? Am I thinking Xenoblade 3? But it's more I think about it is like, I have moments that I always love about 2, and I still love 2 as a video game. But 3 emotionally resonated with me in a way that I don't think any game really has. And it's really impressive that they did that. When it's a game about fucking... cat girls and fucking blonde cockney people like screaming at you. Like, it's like, what is this? It's like, it's kind of crazy.
What you were saying about like the trilogy aspect of this, it is really interesting to see it like juxtaposed with the Xenosaga trilogy, where that is like your by the numbers trilogy, play these sequentially, and then you follow the same group of characters through this 2-year journey.
Yeah.
And see how their stories all wrap up. But with Xenoblade, they're like, hey, every game, here's a new cast of weirdos for you to get attached to.
And I feel it works, and I almost feel like, you know, a lot of JRPGs do that, you know? Persona does it, where it's technically the same universe, but they swap different characters. I feel the reason it is because you feel the weight and the impact of the previous entries. It's not just it's a new cast of characters. I guess we're still in the same universe with all these other 80 games that somehow never have any crossover unless it's like in an uncanon, like a non-canon
DLC.
dancing game. Yeah, like, it's weird. Whereas this, you feel the impact of Xenoblade 1 and 2 in this game, and they don't need to fucking preach it to you. And yeah, you can play Xenoblade 3 as your first Xenoblade game. I'd highly recommend that you play 1 or 2 or both before you play it.
I have a friend who played like halfway through 1 and fell off of it, and I'm like, after playing 3, I'm like, you know what, buddy, just stop what you're doing because you're probably not going to go back anyway, and just go play 3. It's okay.
You can do it. You can do it, but I almost feel like the payoff is worth it. I genuinely like. It's not one. You're not gonna have your end game moment where you're like, "Oh my god, it's Iron Man! Oh my god, it's Thor!" and everyone's fighting. It's not one of those, but it is just the joy of seeing the series just kind of wrap up in the way that it does is something that I feel like. I feel like 1 and 2, you can play those in any order. Play whichever one you want of those first. It doesn't fucking matter, but I'd at least play one of them before you play 3, at least. Probably 2, which is weird of me saying. I was 100% expecting them to pat off 2 completely, but I 100%.
Yeah,
but
2 is probably the
2
most,
is more important.
The most love
and
from
it's
this
probably
game.
the more important to know than Xenoblade 1. I feel like they took a lot of the world of Xenoblade 1 more than they did 2, but a lot of the story and everything that and just everything around it is a lot more 2 focused, which is interesting. But anyway, that's enough pre-spoiler impressions, I guess. This is it. This is your spoiler warning. This is the get the fuck out moment. This is your final chance. If you have not played Xenoblade Chronicles 3 for the Nintendo Switch, you can go and do that. It's on the Nintendo Switch eShop. You can go buy it. Go buy it on Amazon. Do what you want. There's 3 whole games there. You can go play all of them if you want. One's pretty alright.
You can just drop $150 all at once.
I do it all the fucking time. I did it on an Akechi bag. You can do it on fucking 3 games. Stupid. I don't even like Akechi that much. Like, dude, fucking shit. Sheesh. But no, this is your final warning. We are going to go into everything. Absolutely everything. And to start off with, I guess we can go more in depth on the characters, because chapter 1 is a pretty... it's not really it's not as significant of a chapter in terms of story. So I feel like this is a good place to just talk about the characters more in depth. We can be more spoilery now. Yeah. So we can go into why we kind of like these characters a lot. I think it's interesting because obviously the game follows the Kevez crew for a short period of time, and I think it's the smart move to do that because one, not only is it, it very much kind of models the intro to Xenoblade 1 a lot, which, you can see those comparisons straight away. But also, with Kevez being the more underpowered side, it's also a good way to get used to the characters at the start, because Kevez are... I kind of like it, to be honest, is if in a war between humans and Blades would obviously win. So the idea of having Kevez be basically these people that do have to use these power amplifiers to even stand a chance is an interesting little lore tidbit.
Yeah, it is an interesting angle to take with it.
But no, what did you think about the intro to Xenoblade 3, now that we can dive into it? Because I think it's very interesting, because it's almost a mix of both of Xeno 1 and 2, because it still drags like Xeno 2, I'll admit. It still has a bit of a rough start. The intro fight is really cool, but then after that it does the classic Xenoblade 2 of walk 1,000 miles and come back later. Like, walk home, bitch.
But I feel like the way that they established the world and what they were doing was really cool. As far as like, oh man, society in this world specifically is pretty messed up. Like, honestly, if they had went a completely different direction and just made it like a war story instead of the more, the more JRPG-esque thing that it becomes as they do, I would have been really interested to play that version of events as well.
I still think it's interesting because the whole thing is, Xeno 1 and 2 have such happy endings where the world's fine, all is fine and dandy, the world is at peace. So to then be told that this is the future of both of these worlds, and then to be chucked in and already asking questions, because you're like, okay, why are both sides fighting? Why do people only have 10 years to live? Why are they draining the energy? It's like, none of it makes sense. And I feel like that's the thing that I love about this story is, we talked about it in the first impressions, is Xeno 2, you know where you're going. Xeno 2 is the journey to Elysium. There are questions throughout, but you know that that's your end goal. Xeno 1 is the exact same way. You're heading to Mechonis.
Mhm.
to fight the mech on, and then yes, plans change near the end, but that's your main objective. With this game, you always feel like the cast is almost as unsure of what to do as you are, and there's so many questions. It's like, I feel like why the story was so engaging for me is there's never a point where I felt like I was 100% certain of what was going to happen. Maybe near the end when you're finally in that final march, but up until that point, I was never truly like, oh yeah, that's what of course we're going to get to Swordmore, and they're going to tell us that we're going to have to go to the prison in Agnes Castle, and then we're going to have to release you're never 2 steps ahead with this game where I feel like you are with the other games. And it's like those questions just constantly kept me engaged. Like, why are we fighting? Like, why are they fighting? It's a genuine question. Noah's almost asking the question
why we're here.
Yeah. Just it's a very interesting start. I also just love the dynamics from the characters from the get-go. I love that there's no kind of
for sure
introduction that as soon as I saw they were doing a bath scene so early on, I was like, oh god, here we fucking go. Like, I'm like, oh god. But to have it be this genuine, because they're soldiers and they're born to fight and it's 10 years and they've got no fucking idea of anything else really in the world. The fact that they are just acting like they normally are, and it's like, having a bath means fucking nothing. If you piss me off, we're gonna have a fight while we're here. Like, who gives a shit? Which is nice. And it's just also something that I really do like about... I really like Lance and Uni's dynamic, because you can tell that they're just good friends who like taking the piss out of each other a lot, and I just kind of appreciate it.
It's one of the most fun dynamics to just watch happen,
honestly.
And they don't do the fucking the casual trope that every game like Persona 5 does, where you have the two bickering who always take the piss out of each other, and then have the part 2/3 in the game where one of them goes too far and they really hurt each other's feelings, and then they fell out for a while and they have to reconcile. They don't do any of that shit. They just literally just like, they're constantly taking the piss out of each other, and it's fine. They just deal with it because that's just the kind of friendship that they have. It's good to not have that Morgana moment.
There's one part in like, I think it's during Lance's hero ascension quest where when you go to wherever you're supposed to go, and I don't know why Uni calls Lance a Muppet, and then Lance calls her a spoon.
Yeah, that's my
like, this is the most nothing dialogue I've ever heard, but it's hilarious. It's incredible.
That sounds like, I swear to God, I've heard that exact exchange of words from Jack and Ethan before.
Yeah, probably when we just angry British noises. Yeah, it's basically it. I just love the dialogue of this game. Like, obviously at first you're like, haha, it's funny because they're saying spark and blast and all this stuff, but then when you also realize that, again, the words that they have kind of replaced are like all of the sexual, like fuck and like that, they're the words that have been replaced because they don't know what they are. That wouldn't make sense to them, because it's like, why would they know that word? Because they're just fucking soldiers. So they say fuck instead of spark, they say spark instead of fuck and stuff like that, and I'm like, that makes so much sense that I wouldn't have even like considered that. But it's like, I just thought you were doing it because it was funny, and it is funny, but also damn, that's kind of clever how they were like, yeah, you know what? Some swear words just won't work if all you know is you're born to fight. It's like, that's actually really interesting, because like, yeah, piss and shit would stay because obviously, but it's like, yeah, everything else disappear. I was like, interesting little thing that I didn't necessarily pick up on, and when someone noticed, I'm like, yeah, of course they are. That's weird. But yeah, obviously, so start of the game, it's very, I don't know, generic. You're just fighting for Kevez, basically. You're just going on your little mission to go and get the little Ouroboros orb. I don't know. Was it called anything special? Was it just like an Ouroboros orb?
Ouroboros stone, wasn't it?
Stone, that was it.
I think so, yeah.
Which the Lost Numbers were taking back to Swordmart. And then obviously everything goes tits up. There's a big fighty time, which I really like the choreography of this big fight in the center of the crater. I really, really enjoy it. It's a very good fight.
Yeah, they're really good at doing like the master. You're talking about the introduction fight or the one later?
I'm talking about not the introduction fight. The introduction fight was great, but I'm talking specifically about the fight between between Noah and Mio, and all of them like doing that
Oh yeah,
little fight
it
for
was
the
real
orb.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. All the choreography in this game's cutscenes is actually just so well done. It, like we said it earlier, it's one of the highest quality cutscenes the Xeno series has ever had.
It's great to look at the glow up, because there was a massive glow up between 1
Mm.
and 2 in terms of fight choreography. Say what you want about the voice acting, but in terms of choreography of those fights, it's really crazy. And I feel like they took it to an even higher level with this one.
Yeah.
With the way they do it, and I just
certain
love
points in
like
the cutscenes in 1, it was just angry flailing.
yeah,
It
angry,
seemed like.
yeah, like Fiora, like that, yeah.
And then Shulk gets ragdolled.
And then Shulk ragdolls away, yeah. Where it's just like I just love the kind of intricacies of it. Like I don't know why, it's just like it's just when when games make up bullshit lore, and it's just like I just like the idea that Noah's like noticed that it's the Agni, that she's the rhythm that she's in is the Agnian Offseer rhythm, and it's just like stuff like that. I'm like, that's just like a really cool
That was
touch
really
to
cool.
figure out. Yeah. Did not need to do it like go in depth like that in the slightest, but it's also just a very cool little moment where I'm like, and then obviously we had good old Van Damme show up for 20 seconds.
Good old
Charlie Ouroboros, I think.
Charlie, good old Charlie Ouroboros. Which was nice. I mean, again, he was just Van Damme shows up to just be the driving force and die. Like that's every time.
Yeah.
I like that his lackeys had the same names. That was funny.
That was a cool touch.
All reincarnated to fucking die and just pass the torch forward. Off they go. But no, it's a very cool scene, and I guess we didn't really talk about it. I really love the whole off-seer aspect of it. The flutes are a highlight of this game for me. Like genuinely, I fucking love the flute in this game.
Man, the flutes.
Every time it happens, like even in the open world where I'm just like, when you're sending people off, there is like just kind of a weight to that melody. It didn't matter how long I heard it, especially the Agnian one. The higher note one is like, oh my god, it's like
it was very reminiscent of something that Final Fantasy X liked to do, where it was similarly using a piece of music to send off the souls of the dead. And I've liked it a lot in this game as well.
I have a personal admission that I'm going to admit to taking an L to in this game.
Okay.
So in Xenoblade 1, Alvis was referred to as a seer because he could see into the future.
Yep.
So when I heard that these people were called off-seers, I thought that there was some kind of connection to that. No, they're just seeing off the souls of the dead.
Yeah.
It's very straightforward. I overthought it.
How long did you hold on to that idea?
Longer than I should have.
Well,
it took me a while to realize.
I really do just like the visual idea of their memories kind of flying off into the sunset. And it's also, when you come to the realization, which I feel like everybody kind of, when you hear the 10 years thing, you're probably straight away in your head is they probably keep coming back. That's probably what keeps happening, and they lose their memories. Because like I think I said to you, Kyle, my instant thought was, this seems like they're going back to like almost Blade tech, where it's like, Blades are reincarnated or time and time again, but they lose their memories every time. And it's the fact that it's the memories that flow away in the wind, because obviously their body will be back eventually to keep fighting. But I really like it. It's a really cool visual that they continue to use throughout, and it's one of those things where I was like, well, I get sick of this after 100 hours of seeing these fucking motes fly away, and I never did, to be honest.
Oh man,
and it's a really nice touch, and then obviously they get given the
logo.
Yeah, I know they even did that, but no, and then they get the Ouroboros powers, and off they go.
Correct.
Off they go. They get the big fucking Titan powers, which that's the first time you meet. Who is it? Was it D? Who's angry boy that likes stabbing?
This was D.
D, yeah,
it's D.
It is D. It's D's nuts, yeah, that guy.
Mr. Wild Ride.
The guy that just liked killing people for fucking
the one of them that was actually fun.
Yeah. The first one they meet.
We'll get to him.
We'll get to him. It's a fun little scene, but no. Obviously Noah and Mio get their powers. Their little
Correct.
they get their little Power Rangers Megazord where like fucking merge together kind of moment.
Yeah.
Which is cool. I like it. The Ouroboros powers are interesting because for the first couple of fucking hours they suck because until you can chain cancel, that shit's doo-doo. As soon as you can chain cancel, that shit's great, but until that point you're like, no.
I still didn't use it that much.
I
if
think
being
I went
honest.
through most of the game without using them.
Oh, I used it all the time. But I also
I-
never played as Noah, so I never used Lucky 7 bullshit, so I just needed something.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's fair.
So that's probably why.
Yeah. No need for Lucky 7 bullshit, dude. No need. Too good for it.
Who needs to
There's enough
transform
bullshit
when
in
you've got
this
a
game anyways.
nice sharp sword?
No need.
Exactly.
No need for Lucky 7 bullshit. And for the most part, I feel like that's the most of Chapter 1, isn't it? Chapter 1 doesn't carry on after that. That's it. So there you go. You get thing, and it's like it was
JRPG
one of those,
intro.
It's a JRPG intro, to be honest. And I'm like, isn't it nice that the gods of fate decided to give the two bodybuilders, pair the two bodybuilders up, the two people that clearly are the polar opposites of each other, and then the two offseers. What a quinky dink! How nice of them to do that.
Two bodybuilders. Ethan
almost-
says
yeah, it's
that
almost-
they didn't reveal the swimsuit DLC this week, where it turns out they're all bodybuilders.
Fucking, I disagree. That's not canon in my head, dude. That's not fucking canon.
If you never put the swimsuits on, it's not canon.
It's not.
They're all
canon,
still
bro.
twinks under that clothing.
Dude, Noah should be, bro. Look at him, bro. He's got, like I told you, he's got a runner's body. He's not got a fucking bodybuilder's body. I'll allow Lance, but they kept his shirt on. I'm like, why? There's the abs. You want the abs? Fucking in. The unit. But no, it's a strong start. And yeah. Chapter 2.
Chapter 2 opens with Lance and Senna screaming at each other.
Oh yeah, that's the scene where they're just
Truly a
fucking...
thing of beauty.
I really liked their dynamic, to be honest, throughout the game. At first, like for the first while, it genuinely did feel like it was like they were like the third wheel of the pairs, if that made sense. Where it was like everybody else,
they were like the other two for a while.
the other two for a while. They do pick up in the second half, but especially in this part, you're like, oh, them two are just the exercise junkies, and I can't relate to that. You know, it's like Uni and Tyon heavily relate. I'm a sarcastic, negative prick. I can easily relate to both of those two jewels of people. Yeah. And it's like, Noah and Mio, you know, I love a good ship, dude. So I was already setting sail on that. Them two, I was like, come along, you can tag along, I guess. They were like the family pet of the group, basically. Where I'm like, come along. Before Riku and Monado were playable, come along. Get in your keep. That's also how I treated them, because a lot of the time they'd go on the classes that I weren't using. So I was like, okay, so I'm playing as Mio and she's an attacker right now. So go on, Lance, get the healing out.
Yeah.
Go on, off you go. Use those muscles for healing. But no. Chapter 2, I'm not going to lie. I'm just looking at all the other chapters. And chapter 3, this is me just trying to remember everything. Chapter 3, is that the Voldy chapter?
No.
What's chapter 3?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Voldy was in that.
No. It is. Yeah, that's chapter 3. It is chapter 3.
Yeah. Because chapter 2 at the end you get Ethel, and that's your first hero.
Yeah.
That's when it introduces it all to you.
Okay, I'm gonna say it. I feel
and
like
also
chapter
that's
2,
a lie, because the start of chapter 3 gives you Ethel, and then you leave and can't use her in your party.
I'm gonna say it. I think chapter 2 is my least favorite chapter.
It's definitely the shortest chapter.
I think it's my least favorite.
Yeah.
Because the thing with
it's
chapter...
It's definitely just a run from point A to point B chapter. There's not a lot of detouring you can really do.
Chapter 2 and 3 are definitely my least favorites, but 3 I still think I enjoyed and put a lot of time into chapter 3, because that's when the world kind of opened up, where it was like, do you want to go and do some hero quests, or do you want to carry on with the main?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to go and find this Valdi guy, or do you want to go and see what Teacher's doing, or do you want to go back and see what Zeon's doing and Collie? 9. I'm on a fucking roll with names today, boys. Jesus
Dude,
Christ,
I'm so proud of you.
I've got them all. It's like I've got a document. I don't. These are the timestamps. But, you know.
That's fun.
But no, chapter 2, for me, it was interesting, but also I don't know what it is about Ethel, but I think all of the stands on Twitter made me like her less. I don't know about anybody else, but you know, she was basically the Resident Evil 8 Lady Dimitrescu of this video game, where everybody saw
Was she
Ethel and
really?
started saying "mommy," and I was like, for fuck's sake, guys, can we not? I know it's Xenoblade Twitter, so everyone's horny on Xenoblade Twitter, but I'm like, come the fuck on, like, can't we just? To me, she's just like, I liked Ethel. I thought she was
She was
fine.
cool.
But I think there are far
Got-
better
got a cool
characters.
class.
Yeah, I think there are far better like characters later down the line, like in terms of heroes and stuff like that. She's just your generic kind of cold-natured leader,
I mean,
anime
She
girl.
was like Morag, really.
Yeah,
For a first hero class, she's pretty solid.
she's pretty solid.
She's definitely a good substitute for Noah.
No, I do. I like her class. I'm just like, from a story perspective, I'm like, it's a fine story, but it's almost like Ethel's story to me is almost, and Valdi's too, to an extent, is almost like the Torah section of 2 to me, where it's like, we could remove some of this, especially because we'll get to it later. Because when Ethel, well, we can talk. It's Spoilercast, we can talk about it. When Ethel fucking dies later, right? And they they lock you out of it. She's like, no. I was like, oh, this is cool. Some heroes will come and go, and the rest will be with us for the entire. No, just Ethel comes
It
and
was just
goes.
her
Everyone else just
specifically.
fucking
It was
there.
weird.
Like,
Why
no,
make
we used
that-
this like twice?
Why make that a feature? And why go out of your way to go? Sometimes heroes will leave your party and never return, when that was only one person and she did return. You could fucking go
Well,
get her back. I was like,
Chapter 7 for a little while, Monica and Gondor get locked out.
yeah, but you don't need a tutorial to tell me that the story's like, yeah, important characters aren't there anymore. I'm like, of course they get locked out. That makes sense. You don't need to tell me that. It's a very silly system for when.
Yeah, it was.
And I get it, because they didn't want
to.
to ruin the fact that she would come back. So they were like, which is dumb. We'll get to it. I feel like we'll get to the fucking Ethel and Kohlrabi shit. That's like one of the story points where I'm like, that should have stayed in the drafts, personally. Like, that should have.
Yeah.
feel
There was
like-
no benefit to bringing either of them back.
I feel like a lot of the spoiler cast is going to be us saying we'll get to that.
We'll get to that until we
like, an
eventually do,
hour.
and we forget to come to it. But no, let's talk about Chapter 2 then. So a lot of Chapter 2 is you are basically on the run from Colony 4, who are hunting you down because they see you as Ouroboros and must be stopped, as everyone says.
Yeah.
Ouroboros is a scourge on this world.
It must be erased without a trace.
Exactly. So it's a lot of, a lot of the start of the game is very much a lot of running away because you're the only people that kind of know what's happening, which is funny. I like the idea that being Ouroboros just basically makes you look like the bogeyman to them. It's like
that's
it's like,
hilarious.
Oogie Boo, I'm gonna hide in your cupboard, like I'm gonna hide in your closet and scare you, like, ooh, smoke boy. Like, what is that? It's kind of
It's
dumb.
like, why does it have to be something that just offends them? Why couldn't it be something that, like, why couldn't it be something that terrifies
Also,
them
my
too?
thing would be,
Like, it would be much less of a curse if I looked like, I don't know, Pyramid Head or something to all these
Yeah.
people, because at least they would run away from me and I wouldn't have to run away from them.
And that'd be my thing would be is if weird guys in masks told me Ouroboros must be erased, they're a scourge of the earth, and then I see them and weird smokes blocking their face, I'd be like, hang on a minute, why are you blocking their face? There must be something, like, why are you not showing me who they are? Like, it's a bit stupid. I'm like, we'll get to the consoles. I think the consoles are a bit wank, to be honest. They're the weakest part of this video game for the most part.
By
There's a couple of
far.
exceptions,
It
but
There's
felt like a
few.
lot of missed potential.
they're just
We'll
kind
get
of the
to
boat.
it.
They're just kind of, well, we can get
Bootleg Organization 13.
They are like they're better. To be fair,
with
they're
more
better than
members.
They're better than Organization 13 because here's the thing: at least the consoles actually show up and fight and then die. Organization 13 is just a lot of, hey Sora, how's it going? How darkness? Hi Sora, how's it going? enjoying fucking Olympus Coliseum for the 18th time? No, we're not going to fight. I'll see you later. Bye, and then fucking peace
Listen,
out.
man, at least I can still think back to at least like 4 or 5 of those guys that were cool.
Yeah. To be,
I cannot do that with the consoles.
There's a couple of consoles that are cool, but
There are maybe 3 for me.
Well, I liked Pirate Man. I thought he was quite funny. I like the idea of a boomer console who just gave up. He's like, fuck it, bro, I'm gonna be a pirate. Nah, bro, I miss Assassin's Creed 4. I'm going by. You know, there's there's a couple of interesting ones. But no, like I say, chapter 2, still stories in the early days.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is where the story hadn't got me hooked yet. Chapter 3 is probably when the story got me hooked, but it's like chapter 2, you know, there's some decent moments. Like I say, I like Ethel, and I like the rest of Colony 4, and I don't remember what Ethel's assistant was called, like, you know, the little girl.
It was a goofy... Yeah, Bolearis.
Bolearis. I knew it. I should have gone with it. I should have fucking gone with it. That was the name that was in my head, but I'm like, I'm gonna look like an idiot if it's not that, because that just sounds like me just saying random noises and hoping for the best. But I liked him.
The only reason I remember that is because of the first impressions video where one of you said Borealis and Boreas looking at the Aurora Borealis.
That's it.
I think we came to that together. Like we said half of it a piece.
It was a shared brain cell moment. You know, it was like we all shared the same brain cell. It was good. But
like
no,
a weird mnemonic device that just let me remember it.
I do. I genuinely. I like Colony 4 a lot. It's a good, like, I think the thing that's interesting to me is I like how this game is kind of, you know, because you are the middle ground, right? It very much, it's not a black and white. It's not like Xenoblade 1 and 2 where there's a, like, obviously you have the consoles who are the stereotypical villains, but in terms of the world, it's like, it's a very grey area where it's like, yeah, you're friends with everybody, but you're also technically enemies with everybody, and it's like, you're forging some shady alliances here, and you're trying to build up on some very shaky land. So it's like it's interesting dynamics, interesting relationships. But what I like about it is, you know, a lot of games, a lot of JRPGs in particular, like to do, okay, people who are a part of this faction or this people, they all act the exact fucking same, and so do the opposite team. Where it's like, you can genuinely say that every colony on Agnes's side feels different to every, every Agnes colony feels different to every Kevez colony, and they all feel unique, where it's like, Colony 9 and Colony 4 should basically feel the exact same, yet they don't because of the people that are in them and the way that their methodologies and their opinions change. And it's just like, it's one of those things where I feel like it doesn't really get enough like praise for that, because it's kind of hard to take things that are generic, kind of just generic mechs that all look the fucking same, and build areas around them that still manage to feel unique even though connected. It's like, I really do.
It's kind of like back in the ye old RPG days where every town was just a couple of buildings on like two screens, but they still managed to inject some kind of personality into it, and because of what was around.
Yeah, definitely. And it's just like
that.
And I feel the side quests help with it. I feel like we haven't really mentioned it, but I feel like the side quests in Xenoblade 3 are... You won't know, Hunter, because you're a fucking coward. But the side quests in Xenoblade 3 are a huge, huge step up from 2 and 1. Like, there are a couple of filler kind of side quests, but for the most part, they all have interesting stories and at least do progress things. Like, I just like, and also they're just going on unexpected paths. I would never have expected Colony 9's main storyline to be about fucking potatoes, of all things, and that somehow be an interesting kind of quest line of having like having these people. Yeah, it's weird, but it's also like, I kind of like the idea of them just kind of learning to try and survive on their own, and it's just like, they're in the corner of the map, they're fucked. There's a desert next to them, and it's just like. Worst kind of the kind of the worst colony to fucking go for that, but they're just trying their hardest, you know.
It is also cool that for that quest in particular, they had to enlist the help from Agnes.
Yeah, no, definitely,
to teach them about potato farming.
That's also something that I really appreciate, is how everybody's kind of stories interconnect. The colonies actually feel like they're interconnected. A lot of times in side quests, you feel like Persona. Big issue that I have with Persona's social links and side content is I'm hanging out with Ryuji. Other than Anne showing up once and maybe Yusuke showing up, there's no interconnection there. It's just, I'm hanging out with Ryuji, you're not, I am. Whereas it's like, in this game, yes, I might be doing a Colony 9 side quest with Xeon, but then all of a sudden we're going over to one of the Agnian colonies to learn about stuff. We're doing, you'll do a side quest with Valdi, and then all of a sudden, what's his name? Azerd will show up in that side quest, and you're like, oh, those two now have a link, and you're forging connections between them. It's just a really interesting kind of dynamic where the side characters actually interact with each other. They don't just stay in their own little lanes, which I really like, because obviously you have this hero system where the characters are just kind of in and out all over the place. So to have the characters traveling outside of that, regardless, is just a really nice feature. It just makes the world, again, feel more lived in. Whereas Xeno 2, everybody in Tantel, no one's fucking communicating with anyone in Moradane, or if it's anybody, it's you fucking passing the parcel. No one's actually really traveling between. It's kind of interesting. I like it. Anyway, do you guys have anything to say about this Ethel chapter?
Not
Not
really.
especially. It was just, I don't know.
The fight at
Ethel
the
was
end
kinda-
went on fucking way too long. I'll give him that.
Oh
Jesus
yeah,
Christ.
right.
This isn't
Classic
even my
Xenoblade.
final form. I'm like, we've been through 8. Please stop. it's time.
Yeah.
I'm tired. It's time to stop. Please.
Yeah,
We cut
right,
the
because I
flame
was
clock.
trying-
How much more power do you have?
Right, because because chapter 2 was what I was trying to get done before we started the first Instruments video, and it was going on so long that I couldn't.
Yeah. That boss fight at the end is fucking nuts. He was the strongest Morbius because he won't fucking stop.
Legit.
Most of them we could kill while the flame clock was still up. He was like, hey, I'm still going.
Yeah.
Very cool scene though, where they do the whole like Mighty Morphin time, power of friendship, let's go and
shuts
slash
him.
the clock. Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
The sheath of the sword becomes like an Iron Man
I
gauntlet.
fucking love that, dude.
Yeah.
That's
It's
so
so
sick.
cool.
Cool.
It's such a stupid like anime ass thing, but I love
But
it.
it's
And,
so cool.
But it's so cool.
and it's
I
like
don't care how stupid it is.
I genuinely like Lucky 7 is probably my favorite of the weapons, just because
Oh, undoubtedly.
Absolutely.
yes, you have the sword at the end and all that bollocks that comes later, right? But the thing I love about it is the Monado is like, it's the chosen one sword, it's the special sword, The Aegis sword is literally the Pyro Mithra's sword, right? It's very important. Lucky 7, yeah, it's important to the story, and we don't know what Riku's intentions were and what the fuck's going on with it.
It's just a really
Or
sharp
what no
But
one
it's-
named it.
But as far as the story is concerned, other than cutting flame clocks and it being a strong ass sword, it's just a cool looking sword. Like it's like
Really?
Yeah.
it's not a plot crux where it's like Noah's the chosen one because he has this. Yeah, he gets the blade of the end in the end, but that's more from the power of his Ouroboros and combining with fucking like Mio and Noah finally coming like aligning. That's more of that than it is just him having Lucky 7. He doesn't just pull it out of his arse and go, okay, I'm the anime protagonist now. That's what I really like about Lucky 7. It's just a cool looking sword that doesn't.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, Noah's got a special sword, but it's not because he's special. It's just because it's a special sword, dude. And Riku, if anybody, Riku's the special guy because he was like, "Hey, I've got it."
Yeah, because he's the one who had it.
Yeah,
Mm.
I just like it. It's just a cool little touch that I just really like, and it also makes me like Noah more because it's like Noah wasn't.
He didn't have a crutch.
No, he has a cool sword, and Riku probably was like, that Noah guy. He's pretty. He can be trustworthy, so we'll give it him. But it's not like fucking Shulk where it's like, you're the only fucker that can wield the Monado, or it's like, you're the only one that has the power of the Aegis, you special boy. Like Riku could have handed that to fucking anybody at the end of the day, which I kind of like.
Imagine if he handed it to like Yorin or something.
We'll get to him. We'll get to him in a minute.
We're about to get
We're about
to
to
him.
get to him.
All
Because,
right.
man, I have a piece to say about Yorin.
Yeah.
No, well, preach it, brother. Let's get to it. What you got to say? What you got about to say about my man Yorin? This is chapter 3. So obviously Ethel happens. Ethel's like, I'm gonna go see Queen now. Bye.
And we never saw her again.
Not yet, anyway. But yeah, that happened. So chapter 2, setting stage for some things later on. Obviously, there are bits and pieces here, but nothing huge, nothing major. In terms of stakes, chapter 3 is where it obviously starts to take a bit more of a drastic turn. like I say, hero quests. I don't feel like if we went through every hero quest, we would literally be here all day. We're already an hour in, and we'd be here all day. We're in chapter fucking 3, for God's sake. We've not even actually got to the juicy story bit yet. You know what I mean? So it's like, but for the most part, they're all pretty solid. I really liked nearly all of the hero quests. I don't remember a hero quest that I particularly disliked, and if I did, I didn't hate the character. I just hated the way it was designed, like Triton later. I think that quest is far too long. But I still like Triton as a character. He's interesting. But obviously you have the little Valdi section. Who, I'm not gonna lie, when I saw Valdi, I thought I'd fucking hate him, to be honest. You know, whenever there's the happy-go-lucky kid who's a genius, I'm like, fucking hate you.
I heard
prick.
him and I'm like, why does this kid sound like Rex? I don't like this.
You know, he I've only just realized he is basically like a Rex, kind of. He is.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh
like,
yeah.
No, get out of here. You don't belong in this world. You don't belong here.
He just, to be honest, he did scare me a bit.
To get away from you.
He did scare me for a bit because, you know, he was like, oh, you know, he has a Mastopon and stuff like that. I'm like, if Tora's lost, if Tora's gene pool's still kicking about, I'm gonna be very fucking upset. And this is like, you know what I mean? I'm like,
yeah, I hear you.
I thought it was gonna go that way. Fortunately, it didn't. But I was like, yeah, you better fucking not. No, thank you. One Tora was enough for this world. All worlds.
Oh man, they still never really addressed what goes on with the Nopons and why what the deal with their deal in.
I like to think that when one dies, another one just pops out of nowhere. And it's just like, you know,
cut off one and two more grow back.
Well, I mean, Ricky had like 17, so they obviously. Like. There are little nitpicks, right, that I do have with this game. One of them is the Nopon. The Nopon are shady fuckers. You can't trust them because you're telling me
at the beginning, I was like, "What's the deal with these guys and being on both sides of this conflict? I don't get it."
And they age like normal. They're not under the 10-year scrutiny, and also they obviously, because they're not under it, they obviously are still like normal, and they still obviously are just like. You know, just have kids like normal. So how come you see young Nopon, you see old Nopon? How come when Noah and it's actually in this chapter when Noah and Mio and the gang realize, oh, hang on, you know, like why is the fucking that guy big, that guy small? Why are they big and small fuckers? And then the Nopons are like, yeah, why are they big? I'm like, you fucking know.
Yeah, that got me too. I was like, you age normally. You should understand.
Yeah, why don't you understand, you dumbasses? You're not that thick. Like, fucking hell. Like, it is also one of those things, though, that I was like, it's kind of interesting, because, yeah, when you think about it, if you do only have 10 years to live, you don't really know what aging is, so when you do see, why are some dinosaurs big, why are some dinosaurs small, that's weird.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just one of those things where it's like, that's kind of is interesting. I do like those kind of things that they do from time to time. Where it's just like something that you take for granted, and you're like, oh, yeah. They probably wouldn't know that. Fair play, I guess. But yeah, so you had the whole Voldy section, which is interesting. It's fine. I don't hate it. I thought I'd hate it.
It was okay.
It was alright. It gets the job done. You get your little climbing ability, and up you go into that area. I really like that area that you go into after that point at the top of the hill. I really like that meadowy, that valley kind of area with the waterfalls. Just a really nice area.
Yeah.
Before the Gormont Mountain. Place. And then obviously you get the battlefield cutscene, which is the first little hint of what the fuck's going on. And obviously you have little Uni's war flashback.
Yeah, that was
nice. It was like it kind of confirmed my theory anyway of okay, everyone's lived before. Like this is interesting, and I didn't like it at first. I was like, oh, does that mean because, you know, it's like, are our versions not special then? Is that how it is? Is it like, have we just been going around in circles? At first I was like, is this a cycle? Like, are they going around in the same cycle where every time they become Ouroboros and they're just going to keep going around in eternity and eternity? And as someone...
that is what the symbol kind of illustrates.
Yeah, I know it is. But it's also... but I was also like...
Yeah, every time a story tries to introduce an element like that, I'm like...
Dude, I hate
always
it.
become
It
I always
also-
become trepidatious. It's like anytime there's a whiff of time travel anywhere.
Dude, I'm the same
tense
way.
up, like,
Unless your
COD
story
yeah.
is explicitly focused on time travel.
Dude, the
not
COD
put that
Zombie
or
shit
too
in there.
storyline is a
stupid for it
fucking
to
loop, and I hate
matter.
it. Dude.
Like Bayonetta's time travel shenanigans doesn't matter because Bayonetta's just goofy. So
Dude, I
Yeah.
hate cycle narratives. I genuinely hate it. COD Zombies is had the exact same thing where it was basically a cycle where it was like the last map thread into that, and then eventually they did break the cycle. But I'm like, how do you break the fucking cycle? If you're going in a cycle, they're like, oh, eventually the cycle breaks. I'm like, no, then it's not a fucking cycle, is it? I'm like, I hate it. I hate when it's like one arbitrary thing breaks it, and I'm like,
the biggest
"Ah."
headache is trying to think about how it starts if the thing that starts it is also what ends it.
Don't get me
Makes
fucking
quick,
started. Don't
Dude,
get me started.
that's
bro.
always
No,
the
no,
headache
no,
that I
no.
get thinking about these things.
So yeah, it's like the bootstrap paradox, isn't it? It's like if you go back in time and you wrote Beethoven's Fifth, like if you went back in time and you played Beethoven's Fifth, who wrote it? Like that's the thing, isn't it? It's like because you played it because you knew Beethoven's Fifth, but if they
Yeah.
got it from there, who created Beethoven's Fifth? Because it was never technically created because you already knew about it. It's like one of those things. I hate it. I hate it. It's stupid. That's why time travel sucks. It's bad. No.
Truth.
Well, I mean, that's still
Chrono Trigger did it right, and that's it.
No, it doesn't make sense though, because it's like, yeah, you got it eventually, but how did you get it? Because now that is the timeline, you know? That is the timeline. You always played Beethoven's Fifth in the past, Hunter, so where did it come from? Yeah, that's the thing, is there's no original timeline where Beethoven wrote it.
The real
Stupid.
Beethoven is the friends we made along the way.
Yeah, exactly. But I was like, okay, I'm really hoping that they've just all lived past lives, and it's not like this kind of scenario where they all got together and they all keep fucking it up every single time, like the Doctor Strange. I've seen 6 million possibilities, and this is like, are we on the right one? I didn't want that shit.
Not a single one where
bargain.
Thor gets a headshot.
No. Fucking his aim assist, dude. Like,
Where he just
seriously.
To be
goes
fair, he
through
was like
the
a million
arm.
feet away, and he was being shot at with a
Yeah,
laser.
I refuse to believe that he did not make that hit once ever. Like, that's fucking bullshit.
Yeah, once ever is
fact that he was
hard
that
to
close.
imagine.
That shot, okay.
Bullshit. But I do like that scene, and then I also, it's like your first kind of character growth between Tywon and Uni afterwards. I really like that scene with just him just like, you know, making tea and stuff, like, because it's like, not because I'm British and, you know, Tuesday and all that, like, but in it, mate. But it's just because it was like the first I was playing. It's like, well, I was like, for a second I was like, holy shit, I'm playing a JRPG and someone just did something that was extremely human
Normal.
and not cringe and fucking weeb. Because most of the time someone would be like, why are you down? And they'd be like, I'm not down, you're down. And then it's like, it's got to be a thing for 30 hours. And Towns just notices that she's obviously shook, doesn't fucking ask because he knows that he's probably not going to get an answer, and just fucking tries to calm her down. Like, Jesus Christ. Wow, what fucking hell? An actual human interaction. What riot?
My God,
like
reading
it's like
body
getting your-
language.
It's like getting your pal ice cream when you notice they're sad.
Yeah, it's good. Good shit. Good shit. So then you have that. Then you have the Gormott Mines, all that good stuff. Riku and Manana's bullshit ride. Wish that fucking spider got him.
Oh god, right.
I
thought
don't
that
hate
second
Riku and
was going
Manana.
on
Yeah,
for
but
a
then you
while.
get the Yum Smith.
The Yum Smith, dude.
with all their goofy hats. My favorite.
God, their
The
costume
only-
is hilarious.
The only thing I did with that class was look at everyone else's version of it and laugh, and then didn't use it.
I never saw it until I saw it on Twitter because I turned off the customizable costumes off instantly. I just had everyone set to their defaults because I'm a boring bastard.
Dude, I will say, for the default costumes, I'm so glad that for, like, serious cutscenes in, like, Chapter 5 and the end of the game, they are just forced into their default outfits.
Nah, it'd be really funny with the afro,
So you
bro.
don't have to
That'd be really
watch
funny
Noah
with
have a mental breakdown
with
with
an
an afro on
That'd be
his
funny
head.
as fuck, dude. That'd be
It
funny as
would
fuck. They should add that in
It
New
would
Game
be
Plus.
really
They
good.
should add that in New Game Plus. But no, yeah, it's quite funny, to be honest. But oh well. So, you know, you go through there, and then after you get through the mines of Moria, off you go, out you plop into fucking boring waterfall land featuring
Colony of
urine, dude.
Lambda.
Like, yeah. So obviously you have Izzard's little hissy fit, you know, his little Console J makes these mud puppets, which never were used again, by the way. They never used that plot point
Never.
again. They made it seem like he went on such a fucking monologue about it that I thought he would use it at least one more time where he'd trick us into thinking that someone was there when they weren't. Never.
But no.
Never again. But he makes these mud versions of people that basically has their pure, like they're basic as fuck, and they just have their Twitter opinions that they just scream from the heavens, is basically what he was implying. It's true. That's basically what it was. It was like anything you'd have restraint to say, no, don't tweet that. They were just like, no, tweet it.
Do it.
Your mum's fat. Like, that's basically what they were screaming from the fucking hilltops, dude. Should have been me. I was the biggest simp, was basically what he was screaming. So that happened. So go on then, Cal. Urine time.
Okay.
What do you want to say about urine?
So, if you recall back to the first impressions video, I said that the consoles reminded me of the Testaments from Xenosaga. The Testaments, basically these four characters, four antagonists who died but their souls basically continue to exist in the world and harass the party because that's what antagonists do. They antagonize.
Yeah.
So when I saw that Yorin was a character who died and had connections to the party members, I'm like, holy shit, we're actually doing Testaments with these characters. You can imagine my disappointment later when the big guy you meet at the start takes off his Mobius helmet and it just turns out to be fucking Handsome Jack with Wolverine claws. And he was just an asshole.
I liked that.
I like him. This whole Yorin plot point that persists and irritates throughout the rest of the game, however, can suck it. I hate Yorin and I hate his stupid face.
I also have he has a face that needs to be squished. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. That's why it happens every cycle.
I was like, you and that rubble were made for each other, Yorin. So much so you literally die in every fucking cycle, dude. He was an NPC through and through, bro. He was an NPC.
I'm not saying you guys are wrong. I'm just saying the consoles could have been so much more, and seeing Yorin gave me hope that shouldn't have been there for what we could have gotten.
My main criticism was I loved that D was no one cared about and was just an arsehole, because I was like, finally, someone that makes sense other than the ones that we'll get to later. But I was like, finally, that makes sense. Someone who was a cunt in the real world, who when Z was like, hey, do you want to be an even bigger prick? He was like, yes, please. And I get to live forever, bonus. And then it's like, yeah, off he goes to go and kill a load of people. It's like, most of these people... My problem with the consoles is they go with this whole idea of basically Z picks people who he thinks have potential that he can work with when they're at their lowest, and basically gives them an offer that they can't refuse. The problem that I have is I feel like half of these fucking consoles wouldn't have said, like, fucking Chris. I don't get Chris. I understand that he was like, this whole 10 years is bullshit and stuff like that. I get that, but I feel like his whole deal was, I just want to say yes so I can give no other motivation to carry on his journey. As if he has some kind of all-seeing eye that he knows that fucking Noah is the chosen one. And I'm like, no. Because other than if he knew that, he would fucking do that.
To see Chris turn out as a console. And it was this weird, because I liked Chris as a character, his role as a console was at odds with it, though, so it was strange. But
I just thought we were doing greatest hits. I was getting sick of it, to be honest. The Shania thing as well. I'm like, for fuck's sake, can we stop doing this? For the love of God! Like, if one of you takes your fucking mask off again and it's someone else I'm like, I'm gonna throw a fit, to be honest. Like, I'm done.
Later on in the story, like towards the end of Yoren's stupid plot thread, they hit on the aspect of him seeing all of his lives at once, and that was almost a really cool notion to me, because I'm like, oh, I could totally see like people snapping.
And it works better with other characters. We'll get to it. It works a lot better with other characters than it does with Yoren. But well, I think it still works with Yorin. But it's like
I think the problem is about half of them seem like they were lunatics to begin with.
that's the thing is
So
I understand the people who were already crazy with power. I just don't get what Z's intention was, other than to fuck with people. Then it's like, oh yeah, Yorin, he's definitely going to be a console. He has the potential. Like, I just don't get it, to be honest. And it's like, I don't get it even more now that it's like I liked the once it was revealed, like very much at the end, when it's like Z is the AI that's gone rogue, basically, that created this universe and has kept it. I was like, I'm like, that makes a lot more sense now why Z is this kind of fucking nothing thing, because he basically is just the computer. I'm like, it made me hate it less, to be honest, because I was like, okay, it makes more sense now why he's like that. But
yeah,
I think
it made me question stuff like Yorin even more, because I'm like, why would an AI go, oh yeah, let's fuck with him, get that Yorin kid back, he's fat, he'll definitely do a good job.
Yeah.
Just didn't get it, to be honest. Like, I don't get it. Like, I also don't get that. Why are they fucking dressed like what they want? Like, oh yeah, M looks like Medusa, I guess. Whoop de fucking do. Like, why? Like, it's just stupid, because the console's just their name, basically.
Yeah, it's
Or
goofy.
was that what it was? Was that genuinely what the AI was doing? It was like, well, shit, we need a J, and the only fucker that's died recently is this kid called Yorin. And if anything, it's more of a silent J, really, because we pronounce it as a Y. So what are we doing here, boys? Like, do we count him? Do we let him in?
Weird. Like, you telling me there wasn't like a Jimmy that
we let him in
exactly.
we let him in on a caveat.
No Jimmy console.
Fucking Joe, yeah. Where's Joe?
Joe Obama.
But no, I didn't hate Yorin, and like we'll get
Jeremy genocide.
I do genuinely.
Hunter genocide spelled with a G.
Yeah, but it alliterates. I do
like his end is very cliche, but I also do like a good. I didn't like him enough, so I was like, respect that you're gonna fucking seppuku yourself. See you later, bitch. Bye. Like, bye.
Dude, if he'd been like an ally character the whole game, he would have been the Mishima.
Yeah, basically, yeah. That's a good comparison. But I was like, it was interesting. I was interested because like, oh, okay, this does add a dynamic to it, and it's like, okay. Mainly because it's like, what is the intentions of the consoles and all this kind of jazz?
Yeah, I won't deny that it was intriguing at the start, but when he showed up again, and then spinning his wheels of Yorin showing up, Lands being angry later in between Yorin's appearances, the whole plot thread got tedious to me.
I will 100% though, and I give a respect to it again. It's slightly tipping into chapter 4. I guess it's not because it's the cutscenes in between the chapters, so I'll allow it in chapter 3 because that works. But I really like that Lands was going down this kind of hissy fit mood of like the whole Yorin thing, and again, if this was Persona 5, we'd have a whole 10-hour fucking segment on this whole Lands is getting pissy. I really like that Noah is literally I'm really happy that Noah, it was just like, get a fucking grip, and and then obviously he doesn't take it well, but then Uni fucking calms him down properly. But I just really like how it was a human moment of just get a fucking grip with yourself, like, and then Uni's like, he has a point, like, yeah, he might have been a bit too fucking harsh with his words, but also he has a point. There's bigger things on our plate. And yes, Lands has to continue to deal with it throughout the game, but he's not sitting there every 5 seconds going, fucking Yorin, you piece of shit, you're not fucking this for, like anybody else would in a JRPG. You know what I'm talking about? Like,
yeah, it doesn't become his personality.
If it was any other JRPG, they'd be like, okay, so we've got to try and get our way into the Queen's Chamber. And he'd be like, yeah, for fucking, bet Yorin's fucking there, and he piece of shit. I'm gonna beat the crap out of him when I next see him. It's like, get a grip, exactly, and he does. And it's like, it's why I do like Lands quite a bit. Is I love Ryan, but also he's a bit dense. He kind of lets his emotions get whereas Lands is a bit of best of both worlds, where he does compose himself, and he still does think with his fucking fists a bit too much, but also he has the ability to restrain, and he also restrains other people a lot of the time, which is quite, because there's multiple times in the game where he does pull Noah back and pull Senna back, where he's like, okay, calm down now. It's like, it's time to get a grip. So I liked that quite a bit. But no. Anyway. That's enough chapter 3. Chapter 4 time, baby.
Chapter 4.
Which is the waterfall climbing.
Oh, right.
The jungly gym.
Oh, right.
And then...
I hated going back there.
The castle.
And then the castle. You hated the jungly gym? I kind of liked the jungle. I didn't hate it.
I wish there were more skip travel points in the jungle.
It was fine going through it the first time.
You boys
going
are fucking
back
casuals, bro.
when I had to like find the whatever was tedious.
Yeah, going back to get potatoes was annoying.
But I already had fast travel points everywhere because I'd already explored like a little good boy because I was going everywhere. I was digging all the tunnels.
I had all the fast travel points that were available.
Yeah, well, you're just a bitch because it was
near
easy
the
enough.
potatoes.
There was not a good
fast travel. It was a dumb 5-minute walk, Ethan.
Grow a fucking pair, dude. Like, jeez. Sheesh. Calm down. But no. So, you know.
He didn't like the potato quest is what I'm getting at.
Oh, I didn't like the potato quest, but I thought the Xeon story of him becoming like trying to turn his little fucking aggro bunch of like annoying little shits into farmers, I thought was quite charming. I also just love that love triangle. It's like, this is very funny to me that like that whole kind of. Again, there's another Mishima hunter. Basically, there's another Mishima kind of character. Yeah, because God, what is Forest Girl's name? Because I don't remember her name that much.
Juniper,
that's it. Because yeah, Juniper. Basically, Juniper likes Xeon. Xeon likes her back, but then his assistant also likes her, but also hates them. Actually, I think they're non-binary. I should be saying they. My apologies. I forgot. It was one of those things where Twitter told me, and I was like, "Thank you, Twitter. I will learn." But it's just one of those funny things where I'm like, "Why is this a thing?" Like, also, it's one of those things where he's like, "They're hot, but also I'm a racist and I hate Agnians." It's like, oh, for fuck's sake! I'm like, God damn it, grow a pair, mate.
Oh my god,
I can't like them. They're an Agnian. I'm like, oh, for God's sake, bro. Like, that's
if enemy, why hot?
Oh no, they're hot. That's basically his reaction when he gets there. I was like, oh no, they're hot. But you know, Juniper was interesting. Like I say, I liked that their colony's dynamic was that they'd just been abandoned, so they're like, fuck it, we'll die. Who cares? Like,
yeah, I liked that.
The world's kind of abandoned us, so who gives a shit? But no, I liked them. They were a cool character. And then obviously it's off to the castle.
But
off
first...
Oh, what?
We have a visit from our good pals Ethel and Kamarave.
It was here's my thing with this scene. It was very much... It reminded me too much of the Van Damme scene from Xenoblade 2 because it's in the exact same fucking point in the story, and I was like, oh, we're doing the sacrifice to give them the motivation to keep fighting shtick. So I was basically sitting there going, okay, get a move on. We got story to do.
Yeah, it didn't help that for up until like 2 minutes before Kamaravi died, I really didn't care for him.
Yeah, same.
I mean, he barely had any screen time before that, really.
Well, I know, but the little screen time he did have, he felt like a bit of a tool, man. And then when he like ripped his eye out, I'm like, okay, fair enough. That was cool.
And all right, badass, go off, King.
Yeah, and then he died. So I'm like, yeah, well, you got one moment. Fair enough.
I think I would feel more towards that scene if they didn't come back. Like, if they didn't come back, then I would have been like, hey, fair enough, good send-off, because, you know, they get that warrior send-off, they found the meaning to their life, and it's giving them the meaning to go on. But then they both come back anyway, and the bullshit anime aging machine means they fucking are the same anyway, so it's like,
Yeah.
It's not even
But
like
I
they're
mean-
sitting there with like the implications of, oh look, it's the people we knew but younger. They're like, oh, there's one and he looks the same as we left him. The other one's younger, but we'll just stick her in a pod for 5 minutes. We'll fucking put her on a fucking quick 5-minute bake in the microwave. There we go. Oh good. Back to
Keep
term
in the
10.
oven until golden brown.
Yeah, basically. Like, yeah. I thought that scene was
Flip it over
fine.
every 5 minutes.
Yeah. I thought that scene was fine, but I didn't
Keep until
really
sufficiently hot.
care too much.
Yeah.
But it had a good flute solo. So what am I?
Yeah.
Oh, we missed the fucking important part. Sorry, rewind. Important
Oh,
scene.
It's rewind time.
It's rewind time. Yeah. No, I fucking love this scene. The scene in the
Yeah.
skyscraper.
Oh, really?
Can't
Sunset.
forget that, dude. Ethan's ship central has to fucking hang on. We've found a port, boys. It's this cutscene that's pretty epic. I liked it.
It was a nice cutscene.
Yeah. Again, I am a Mio
love
simp,
characters being
boys.
people.
I'm a Mio simp because I am like, I have a fear of dying because of course I do. Look at me, I'm a wreck. But it's like, so the idea of someone counting down the days until they're gone and like really struggling with that and trying to put on like a brave act to be like, yeah, I'm ready. I'm like, when clearly she's not, and it's like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
bugging her every step of the way. It's something that I love, and I just love that scene where it's just like, no, it is, and he 100%. This is why Noah's a much better character than the fucking Shulk, because Noah in this scene almost does a Shulk, where he almost does the whole like, my problem with Shulk and Fiora is Shulk sees Fiora as this like thing that's like one touch and she's fucking gone, dude. It's like she's useless. She can't handle herself. She's basically, she needs someone to be there. And Shulk's like, hey, I'm basically that person. And it's like that's their constant relationship, and I fucking despise it. And Noah kind of does that in a way where he's like, hey, you know, I'm there for you. It's like, it's easy. Don't be sad about dying. We're here for you. And she's like, no, it's not that fucking simple. And I really like it because there's so many chances where they could have just been like, oh yeah, don't worry. The male protagonist got you covered. You handle your emotions. Like no need for it. She literally was like, fuck you. And then Senna's just like, yeah. She's finding it a bit hard. I'm like, wouldn't you if you had like 2 months left to live? Like, I fucking would. Like, if you knew you were counting down those days, and in those final 3 months of your life, you were given the most important task that you could possibly ever consider, yeah, you'd be feeling that fucking stress. Especially when you're like, yeah, you've made these new friends, and they've all got like 18 months left at least, and you're sitting there and you've got 3. Just a bit shitty.
Yeah, Mio's setup for her whole story going forward is definitely the strongest motivation.
Oh, definitely.
A bunch.
Oh yeah, I didn't say it earlier. I know you said that Noah's your favorite. Mio's my favorite character in this game by far. Good year for her voice actor because she's the best part of Elden Ring as well. So you know, win-win for me.
Yeah, and I do like both of them like equal. They do a good like Dutragonist role.
Yeah, it's kind of hard
where Mio kind of is the protagonist for the first half, and then Noah takes the mantle for the second half.
Yeah,
pretty much at chapter 5. Yeah.
But no, it's like that scene I really like. I like that. You know, it's not as cringy as the fucking water scene in Xeno 1, but they had to do some kind of fucking shipping thing, so they swapped the little flutes around. I was like, that's cute. I also thought it was a very cute touch that they actually play the opposite songs to each other now in the open world as well. If you actually,
yeah, it was cool.
Which I was like, that's cool. It's a nice little feature that they didn't have. Again, they didn't have to program that in. Most people wouldn't have probably even fucking noticed, to be honest. But no, cute little thing.
Also, in that cutscene, there was a nice little moment of bro bonding between
Oh,
Tyon
that's
and Lance.
hot, dude. That's
oh
hot.
yeah,
That
where he iced him on the high five or the fist bump. Yeah.
Not to detract, but
no, that was pretty hot. To be fair.
Oh, it was great. I
gotta respect the bros.
Hell yeah. Them two get it. Ty on the lands, they got it, dude. They were like bros before hoes, dude. Like, hell yeah, let's go. Wait, what? No, don't walk away.
Don't walk away.
Don't leave me hanging, bro. Don't leave me hanging.
Yeah, there are so many times that I've like left somebody hanging because I
Yeah.
just didn't notice that they were like asking for a fist bump or something. Like the number of times my sister
Monster.
I'll like say something and my sister will be like, "Yeah," and go for a fist bump, and then I like don't notice, and she has to like smack me and be like, "Hey," and I'm like, "Oh, right." It's really funny.
Trying to look. I feel like I got a screenshot of that image of them two, of just guys being dudes. Hell yeah, dude! Look at me go. Look, I've got like screenshot after screenshot after screenshot after screenshot. I was just like, yeah, hell yeah, guys being. I also got to mention the scene. Look, I've got a PowerPoint presentation now. We can just go through
Oh,
it. The
man.
scene of Noah and Senate there as well. I like it.
Oh yeah.
Because where she's basically like she feels she's close to you because you're both off-seers and stuff like that. I like that scene. Very good scene. Very
Man,
good
why are
whole
we trying to
section.
remember this stuff? We can just Ethan had a PowerPoint.
Yeah,
made.
dude. Look, there you go. Look, there's the scene. Oh, it doesn't like that. It doesn't like the bright
Wow.
images as much. Hang
Oh,
on. There you
no, it
go.
doesn't.
There you go. But that's
Yeah,
them on the
That
sunset.
scene was also in the trailer.
These have don't worry. I've got so many images that I didn't put on Twitter because I didn't want to spoil things for anybody. Look at this. I'm like a ship account. Look at this shit, bro. Look at it. It just keeps going and going and going and going. I was having
Man
the
just
time
had
of my
his
life.
finger over the screenshot button the entire game.
Dude, what's this scene?
Dude, that's the scene where Mio fucking decks a Mobius.
that was a great
Where
scene.
she
Yeah.
just
Look at
straight
this, dude,
punches
yeah.
it across the battlefield.
That's
Yeah, look,
literally
bro, I
the
got-
best thing the Mobius do in this game is get punched.
Legit.
Dude, look at me go. Look, this is
Five
them. Look,
foot
look.
nothing at
Look, there we go.
Catgirl.
There we go. We're sending them off. We're sending them off. There we go.
Bye.
Bye.
See you in 30 hours.
So then they became this really cool monument that kind of reminded me of the Bionis and the Mechonis, dude.
Dude, it's symbolic.
It's symbolic. Oh, look, I've got so many more simp images. I'll keep my little simped little tray up here, and then whenever we mention something, I'll be like, I'll have a search. But no. Good cutscene, good set of cutscenes. I liked it. A lot of character development for all the characters.
Yeah.
But that's good. And then obviously we're off to the castle.
Yeah. One thing I thought was really cool was the build up into the castle, just seeing the hovering reef from Xenoblade 1 just dried up, a barren wasteland compared to like the beauty it was in the first game.
Oh yeah.
The fuck is that, Ethan?
The hovering reefs.
Oh.
It's actually Uni on a zipline, but in the hovering
Nice.
reefs. But
Yeah.
There you go. Is that a better one? There you go. Is that a better image? Is that a better the
Perfect.
box art? There we go.
Touchdown.
Perfect. Touchdown.
I'm an artiste, dude. I'm a photo mode god. Look at that. Anyway, carry on. Sorry, I'm having too much fun with this diagram.
I
now.
basically just said my piece on. I just thought it was really cool to see how see areas like the first area I could really distinguish from another game and see how it's changed over time since the first game. There have been little allusions here and there, like seeing bits of Araya in the little mine section, but this was the first big one I noticed.
I agree. And by agree, I mean I didn't even notice that was from Xenoblade 1, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
Thanks, bro.
Oh, it's that bit.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, so it is.
Yeah, the build up into Alchemoth.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I guess. I'll give him.
I mean, you guess. That's literally what it is, Ethan.
Yeah, I guess. Fair enough.
Does it count if you just don't remember?
Does it
It
count
never
if
happened to me.
Yeah. Does it count if that bit was boring anyway? No, sir. I don't know. I thought
They
this
just
castle
changed the
info.
teleporters to zip lines.
Yeah, they did. True. They put the teleporters in fucking RFC. But yeah, I was like, this whole section, the story was definitely carrying it more than the gameplay. I thought the castle breaking was a bit fucking dull in terms of gameplay.
Oh yeah, my favorite part was that I thought I was going towards the story progression and I accidentally found the dual bladed ladies here.
We all
Yeah.
did that. We all did that.
This is where you get a Shira.
Shira, yeah.
And then I tried playing that one because that's a cool weapon, and I'm like, nah, can't do tanks.
Yeah, too
Here
much,
you go, Lance.
too much
Go
effort.
crazy.
Yeah. But no, that's I thought the castle break-in was like, it was a bit boring. Like it's your classic interior, and I feel like if there's something that Xenoblade doesn't really do well, it's interior level design. Sometimes I'm like, it's just a load of elevators and fucking walking like pathways, and that's it.
God.
Like, I'm like,
more on that at the end.
more on that later. Yeah, but I didn't think there was anything special. The cutscene stuff was interesting though. Obviously at the end of here, because we got a couple of little things. Obviously, first thing that we got was the shocking reveal of N.
I am so happy that they didn't try to hold on to that like it was something that was important or something that was.
But it was a
obvious.
shocking reveal. It was shock. I hate it when they first started teasing this in Chapter 4. I was really fucking annoyed. I was like,
yeah, because the first time we saw it, I'm like, oh, it's Noah with his hair down. Oh boy.
Yeah, I'm like, you're not fooling anyone.
Yeah, so I'm glad that they didn't hold on to that. I'm glad that wasn't like a Chapter 5 reveal or something.
Same. I like that a lot. Because again, if it was a Xenoblade 1 or 2, I feel like they would have held off on that for way fucking longer than they did.
Yeah, I mean, how long did they hold out on the reveal of Metal Face in Xenoblade 1?
Till like halfway through the game, yeah. Until they fucking binned him for a shitter fucking villain.
And how obvious was it?
Very.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's like, so I was like, thank God they're doing that. And I still was like, but I still think it's really cringe that there's another version of Noah out there. Like, because I didn't like that, I didn't like the whole Shulk, like, dynamic of him and, God, fucking, help me, Kyle, help me. Zanza, that's it. I was like, it begins with a Z. It's like, fuck. Anyway, but yeah, I didn't like that thing with him and Zanza, because to me, that's like, I just did not like it at all. I was like,
yeah, it was super goofy.
It was stupid, goofy, and dumb.
Yeah.
Whereas I was like, oh, we're doing this again. And I was like, okay, that nearly 100% also means that there's a version of Mio that's also here. So I was like, oh, fucking hell.
I was really like being like, is there about to be like a whole anti-party?
Yeah, I was like, expecting the whole fucking troop to show up. Like,
I was sitting there going through the first letters of all of their names too. Like, if
I'd already met Consult E at that point, so I was like, oh, okay, it's definitely not, because that wasn't uni. So I was like, okay.
Or wasn't it?
It wasn't. But no, so I was like, that was good that they got that out of the way. The bigger twist, obviously, was that Melia wasn't Melia, and it was just a fake robot, which I had guessed at that point. I was like, the royals have got to be fake, right? Because there's no way Melia or Nia would sign up for this shit. So I was like, they've got to be fake. And when it was fake, I was like, thank fuck. But then I was also disappointed, because my initial headcanon was, oh, maybe they're probably just dead too then. Like, that was my initial thing. They're probably dead too. So, oops, that's sad. But I do like it. Like, there's the line that N says where it was like, was this your plan all along, and stuff like that. I'm like, I like the little hints. There's like the little hints that Melly is like not really like, it's like there's a bit of resistance there. I'm like, that's a cool little nod to. I was like, okay, so they're still around then. They're still around. It's just, who knows where they are? Who knows where they are? About fucking 100 feet on, like, in the middle of the fucking lake. But you know,
in a big ball in the sea.
In the big ball in the sea. That sounds wrong, doesn't it?
Of the sea.
Yeah.
Well, what would you call it? It's what it is.
The sphere in the sea. The sea sphere.
The giant
big
golf
sea
ball in
sphere.
the ocean.
But yeah. So that was that.
Melia's just chilling at Epcot.
Yeah, basically. And then after that, the lost numbers come in and they start stealing all the pods.
Yoinky splunky.
They were like, yeah, this is our property now.
Yeah.
which was
This is also where the party learns about when people die, they just get put into these cradle pods.
they just return.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. They never really explained how those worked, did they? Really?
No, but
other
I
than-
feel like they don't need to.
Yeah, I feel like it was just kind of.
No,
It
I
felt
feel like-
natural. Like
I'm
I
just
also
like,
think
this is how the
there's-
world works.
It's also one
Yeah,
of those
because
things where
with-
it can be easily explained. It's like the computer's made from the computer that's built that's created this world essentially is built from both Bionis and from all rest. So it's very simple to my headcanon is the technology of the blade technology of them coming back is basically the same thing. It's just the computer using similar things from all rest to just bring them back every time is
yeah, I was
the way
just
that
like,
I've thought about it.
I was just like, obviously, it not that unreasonable to assume that can be done since all of them are test tube creatures anyway.
And like
Yeah.
Blade, like I say, blades just come back anyway, and the whole of Agnes are fucking blades. So
Yeah.
which is interesting. We'll get into that in the ending, dude. But that just basically just all rules went out the window and all rest after fucking Xeno 2 finished. I felt like that's all. Like, fucking needs.
Really did.
We'll talk about that degenerate fucking world
Viva
later.
la revolution.
No, Hunter. We can't let Rex in his
Yes,
horny
Hunter.
ways fucking exist. Man should be banished. I don't have any
At least it
images.
wasn't-
I was
At
too
least it wasn't
engrossed.
Taurus gene pool.
You don't know that. I was too engrossed with the Melia cutscene to have anything. My next image is chapter 5, which has got this image, which is the classic. We'll get to that
God.
scene, one of my favourite scenes in a video game. That scene almost, it didn't make me laugh as much. It got close to chapter 7 Xeno 2 laughs, that scene did. Close. Very close. But no, that was chapter 4, and I really like chapter 4, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sets the stage for a bigger picture. Again,
was-
it answers some questions, but leaves you with more.
For
And
the
it, you know-
halfway point of the game, chapter wise, this is definitely where the story definitely starts to ramp up.
Yeah, definitely. And then we get into
Speaking of ramping up, chapter 5.
yeah,
the
or as
big
I
one.
like to call it, the fucking lost numbers bullshit. Yeah, let's get this done. So yeah, finally meet the lost numbers. Monica in particular, who is Van Damme's daughter, which is
Damme.
cool. I like that Van Damme had a family in this one.
Yeah.
I also like that they played an important role in the story. I thought that was kind of cool to give him like to have his legacy still be a part of it. It's like it doesn't matter. You
Have
can't.
his kids live on to do something that he can't survive more than one chapter.
Yeah.
Sorry, Charlie Ouroboros. Charlotte Ouroboros is taking the throne.
Charlotte Ouroboros. And her angry little daughter, dude, and her angry little daughter. Fucking hell. Just fucking, we'll get to her and we'll get to Gondor in a minute. But man, is she like I was like, you're annoying. But then when I was like, hang on, let me picture for a second a really small Van Damme, and I'm like, you know what? Van Damme probably was like that as a child, you know, where you just be like, you stupid moppet, what are you fucking doing? Like, I'm like,
Yeah,
she very much
I
is a
came
Van
around
Damme
on
through and through.
Gondor. She
Yeah,
was
Yeah.
same.
after a while.
Yeah, we'll get to it. But obviously, you get to the city, which is, I think it's really cool. I feel like it was a really cool use of the sword. To be honest, was have that be the
It
safe
was-
haven for the people.
It was a really cool moment, especially someone who played Xenoblade 1 kind of early before the series got super big. Where
Okay,
I'm like,
fuck off,
we're,
Indy.
we're
I was there before.
inside the sword now.
I
This
played
is
it on
so
the Wii.
fucking cool.
I played Button Valley before everyone else realized it was shit. Like, no, you don't get to be like first to the shit party. Kyle is not a fucking accomplishment, dude. Button Valley is trash. Button Valley bad. Ratio bad.
Are you done, Ethan? Let
No,
me enjoy
yeah.
things.
No,
The
Button
sword
Valley sucks.
cool.
But it was cool. It was very cool. I'm sorry. It was
I'm
very
leaving.
cool. I'm sorry, Kyle. I'm sorry. It was very cool. Please, I'm sorry. I like Xenoblade 1. It's a great game. I loved it when it made me push buttons for 3 hours in the middle of the sword. I loved it. I swear.
Why were you spending 3 hours in that
Because
place?
it takes for fucking ever.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does. It genuinely takes 2 hours to get through that fucker. It genuinely does. It's so grindy. That game's so grindy. Fuck Button Valley. All my homies hate Button Valley.
But they installed elevators in this game.
Yeah,
So
why weren't they there originally?
There were elevators there. That's what the button's called.
Yeah, but not that. They weren't that
You
fucking
know, like
good.
how a fucking elevator works.
Weren't that
Ethan.
fucking good, were they? They just had one and done. One and done, right up the fucking chute. Me, I had to go through fucking 20 elevators. Stupid.
Getting off like a train.
Yeah. Fucking dumb, dude. Anyway. Much prefer the sword in this game, because it's less of a fucking hassle. Anyway.
Yeah.
So we go in there, then you get the little lore dump of the city, which I was very nerdy about when I was trying to figure out who fucking was who, and it was like, oh, we gotta try and figure out all the statues and all that jazz.
Oh my god, the statues.
The statues, bro.
Can we talk about the statues?
No, I don't.
Or
like
should we save that for later?
No, I don't like Rex. Yeah, we can talk about it. We can talk about it now. I feel like it's very funny that both Rex and Shulk basically took after their mentors. In that Rex lost an eye and Shulk lost a fucking arm. I feel like that's like very kind of. It's like they very much took after their mentors in that regard, where it's like, oh yeah, that's fun, isn't it? Bit on the nose, but it's cute. It's fun. I don't remember who the other ones were. One was someone that looked a lot like Shulk but wasn't Shulk.
Sansa.
Yeah, basically. He was wearing Shulk's clothes, but that's obviously not Shulk because Shulk's the taller one from the lore dump. Because the one with Shulk who's lost an arm is obviously talking about the founder was Melia, but she's talking about her. It's basically talking about her like mentor, who was obviously Shulk. So it was like that's the way I saw it anyway. So that one was him, but there was one that was literally wearing Shulk's clothing. But from the description, it did not sound because it said that he was an Agnian. No, he was a Kevesi soldier who broke the 10-year cycle, and that's definitely not Shulk, unless there's two Shulks in this world, and Shulk was born into the cycle as well as survived into the merge. I have no fucking clue.
Be weird.
Yeah. Obviously, Rex is Rex. That was obvious.
Yeah.
I don't like Rex I don't like Rex as a DILF, to be honest. Like, why did he look so hot? I'm not a fan, to be honest. It was like, of all the people, Rex, no, not hot. Stick him back in the shitty corner, dude. You go back, think about what you've done. Him and his stupid fucking harem, dude. Fucking man's living a comedy. We'll get to that later. Anyway, who are the other statues, Kyle? Do we know?
Those were like the big one, like the two obvious ones. The rest is like
someone said one of them was like looked like the character from Xenogears.
Yeah, there was one. House Van Damme looked like Fei Fong Wong from the Xenogears Pro Tag, which like the statue looked like him, and apparently the description had a fist fighting martial arts style.
If they've done that,
how he did.
Well, right. If they've done that,
if they did that, I'm popping off.
No, but if they did that, then I'm putting my money 100% on the DLC being an epilogue, and that's an Easter egg. I'm 100% putting my money on that. As much as people would like for them to do a DLC where they also give Xenogears some representation, that ain't fucking happening. So,
I mean, I'm fine with it because this whole game is basically just Xenogears again.
Who owns Xenogears at the moment?
Square Enix.
Then that's not fucking happening. That's not fucking happening. They probably got away with murder just sneaking in that Easter egg. So it was probably different enough that they could probably get away with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. If that's what they were going for, I'm 100% putting my money on now that the DLC is an epilogue when the worlds have come back, or you'll be hopping between or resting. Bionis. Put my money on it. There's no way Xenoblade.
Yeah.
Monolith doesn't touch its old stuff with a 10-foot pole unless it's Cosmos. They'll bring Cosmos back. She'll be one of the heroes, dude. She'll be a hero. She'll just fucking show up.
Cosmos is Bandai Namco.
Yeah, but they're buddy with Bandai
and
Namco.
Bandai Namco's cool.
Yeah,
They want to
Bandai
do things with
Namco's
their
cool.
IPs.
Yeah, that's why Cosmos keeps showing up. But yeah, Xenogears, that's a fucking stretch.
Nah,
If they...
Square Enix, hates you. So.
Me.
It's true. They do hate Cal.
They do.
Maybe. It's very true.
Octopath 2 coming.
I'm very upset that they make things I like.
That's a shame. But...
It's a very bad relationship. Never have a relationship like this in real life, folks.
True.
Yeah.
But anyway, so obviously that was very cool. Gets the speculation started off. Will we get a prequel DLC again like Torna? Will it be an epilogue DLC? What do you think, Hunter? What are you going to put? If you were a betting man, where would you put your money? Are you betting it on the war, the first Ouroboros war? Or...
I would probably like not a prequel. I would like an epilogue more.
Same.
Just because.
Yeah.
We'll get into it later, but I feel like if this is
the
the conclusion
business...
if this is the conclusion to this saga, I feel like they could do one last hurrah.
You could give a little bow on it, but yeah, the whole prequel business as DLC is not the kind of thing that I think would entice me to play.
It was cool for Torna, but I feel like we don't need to. Torna was important. I don't feel like the first Ouroboros war was really that important in terms of it was, but not in the same way Torna was for the story. Anyway, we'll get to that later, as we keep saying throughout this podcast. So anyway, so we're in Sword Mart. We have to go through the big errors. Pardon? Oh yeah, sorry.
The party learns about babies.
You got any babies? Oh, don't worry. Don't worry, guys. Don't worry, guys. I have the fucking video version of it as well. Don't you worry. I've got everything.
Amazing.
Well, you're in for a surprise. Buckle up. Oh, there's also that scene to continue the shipping, dude. I am very, very wholesome scene. Same scene with the little ugly baby, because all babies are ugly, even in anime.
It's true.
Even in anime. Oh, and does that have how babies are made as well? God, that scene has it all, dude. It has the fucking shipping. It has the funny ha-has. It has the ugly alien babies. It has it all.
So
yeah,
all the essentials.
So those cutscenes happen. They do the whole spell it out for the fucking stupid people in the back of, oh, who knows? Maybe Noah and Mio actually like each other. I fucking hated that, by the way. I was like, who needed fucking jogging on? Like, because there's such a weird scene where it's just like Monica's like
the people who failed English class.
Yeah, it was just very weird, because after that past scene, you're like, it's very obvious, but then Monica's like, let me spell it out for you guys in the back. Like, keep up, kids. I'm like, fucking hell. No need. We don't need to spell everything out. Just a bit. It was just very weird. Just very weird. Anyway. Moving on. So we have to go through the RSC. Obviously, we've met old Ouroboros, and we've kind of teamed up with the potential Ouroboros candidates that we stole Ouroboros from. And we're gonna go.
Awkward.
And we're gonna go, and I don't remember what we were doing. We were scouting out bullshit, right? We were getting plans so that we could break into the prison.
So you can break into jail and meet with Gondor or some shit.
No, you gotta meet with her. Yeah, we gotta meet with her contact. Not specified. Gotta go meet with her. Got some contacts on the inside. Gotta get in there. Cause a mess. Get out.
Oh yeah.
In and out quick.
Go cause a ruckus.
Go cause a ruckus. So we're in and out. There's nothing really to say much about the islands, really.
Yeah.
The RFC. There's some cool references to. Again, there's the teleporters from. The hovering reefs and stuff like that in RFC as well. There's some cool little references to Left Area. This is where you meet the pirate Yaha Fiddly D. It's also where you meet Fiona, who was busted as fuck. So if you want an OP healer, off you go grab Fiona. Fiona also comes from the colony of sunshine and rainbows, and I fucking hated it there. To be honest, I was like, do you know what it's like? It's like if you've ever been to like. If you ever had a friend who had like a younger sibling's birthday and you had to show up and your friend like dragged you there because their parents was like, you can bring a friend so you're not alone, and it's like you've got the duty and you're like, it's basically you sitting there at a kid's birthday party going, fucking kill me, why is everybody
is happy here?
Yeah, everyone's happy. Who's been eating the E numbers, bro? Like genuinely, like, it was like, and it's like I liked Fiona. She was fine. She was all right. But the rest of her fucking colony, I was like, well, you piss off, the lot of you. You're really doing my nut in. Like, everyone's so fucking sunshine and rainbows. I'm like, no. This isn't what it means to be British. Be negative. Cynicism, people. The Queen's died.
I'm just imagining this being like all of these colony members jumping up and doing the little heel clickies and sync with each other, and Ethan just losing his mind.
Oh golly gee, it's a brilliant day to be happy here in this random island. No, it's not happy in the fucking slightest. I don't want to tell them that our friend was the consul who was terrible, because that'll make them feel sad. Who fucking cares? They need a bit of negativity. Look at them fucking running like crazy. They'll use less energy if they're sad, then less food. Win-win. There you go.
Yeah.
That's all problems. She is busted though. Cool. Anyway, we're going to prison. We have the fucking very long prison segment. Meet Gondor, who you'll have a strong first impression of, whether you like her or not from the get-go. Screaming in Australian.
I really enjoyed her by the end.
I did by the end. At the first, the way I described her at first was, my description was, oh no, the Xenoblade 2 acting's back. That was my description. Because, Xenoblade 2's acting, for better or for worse, is very over the top a lot of the time. So it's a bit exaggerated, and she's very exaggerated. Mm-hmm. Where a lot of the characters have been more muted in this game. So it was very weird to then go to fucking Gondor and Shania, who are very fucking over the top, and I'm like,
bombastic.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
We can get to Shania soon. Fucking
right.
We'll get to that. We'll get to her soon, prick. Right. Anyway.
But, Gondor was kind of grating at first. Just I think part of it was like I'd already spent the whole game with Lance and Uni, who are also rather aggro. Okay, so having a third one that I have to interact with that's not like, I don't like her as much as those two, obviously. But by the time that I was done with the chapter, I was like, oh, you're cool. All right.
Her class is also super fun to use, the martial artist.
Yeah, it is. I liked that one quite a bit. Ugh. Sorry. Shivered for some reason. But yeah.
Get to punch the shit out of people.
It's fun. And that prison section is interesting. It dragged a bit, in my opinion. It was a bit long.
For a long time.
I feel like we could.
But, feels like prison then, doesn't it?
Waka waka.
Waka waka. Anyway. So yeah, that happens. You finally... You break free, as Ariana Grande once told us all to do. And then, after you did that, it's a trap. Dun, dun, dun.
Oh,
Shocker.
No.
Someone ratted us out. I wonder who it was. I wonder if it's the little prick in the back called Shania. Oh, wait, it was. I fucking, I can't tell if it's a good performance that I hate her, or if I just hate her and her stupid performance. I can't tell what it fucking is. I don't know what it is about Shania. She just pisses me off, to no end. Every time she'd talk, I was like, shut the fuck up.
Very Ota-esque.
Yeah, very Ota-esque. I agree. But she was just so very... And it's a bad character, because later on, they do, she has a whole side quest, the whole console stuff. And she has, they have a moment where she has a terrible mom, basically, Hunter. You won't have seen this because you probably didn't play the side quest. But her mother was basically an abusive... Shania, she was basically an abusive figure in her life. So she didn't have somebody. So the only person she had was basically Gondor. So when Gondor was, stop copying me. She took it a bit too fucking personally. And it was one of those things where they're like, look, guys, feel bad for her. And I'm like, fuck no, still a prick. Like, I'm sorry that you had a terrible parent, but also you're still a little shit, so go fuck yourself. Like, no thank you. Dumbass.
Like,
the other thing about that is that it's revealed in that story scene, like, sorry, side quest scene, not main story, by the way, side quest.
Yes.
That one of Shania's ancestors was one of the Ouroboros founders.
Yes. Isn't that fun?
Yeah.
Who do you think it was? I think it's Shulk, because I think Shulk's a prick. No. She's blonde. That was my guess. Was like, God, imagine if the Shulk line turned into a bunch of bastards.
She would be the one that looks like Shulk because her ancestor was probably also codependent.
Yeah. Hey, true. It would make sense though, right? If it was Shulk and Fiora, then they definitely would have blonde kids. But would that blonde last forever? Who knows? Well, blondie brown, you know, that weird kind of in between color. I don't know what to call
Dirty
it really.
blonde.
Dirty blonde, yeah. That's probably a good.
Light brown.
Yeah, it's very.
I don't know.
In these kinds of games, it's always hard as well because sometimes like hair tones are not exactly what
sometimes
you want
hair
them to
tones are supposed to represent something else. Like, you know how many people with red hair, like seemingly, are supposed to be like brown.
Yeah.
And like,
or it's like I feel like in every other
time.
scene, Uni's hair color is different. Like
it changes a lot based on the lighting. Yeah,
it's like in her artwork, she looks more like a lightish brown to blonde, whereas in game she looks brunette at times, and I'm like, I can't decide what color hair to call Uni's because in the art it's clearly not brunette, but in game a lot of the time it does look like it's brunette. So I'm like, I don't know what to go with here. Like, what's it supposed to be?
And welcome to the cosplayer nightmare, Ethan.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. At least with everybody else, yeah, you're like, see Senna's hair, it's like dark brown, dark browny black. Well, Neo's hair, grey, silver. There we go. Sorted. Noah, black. Lan's grey, like grey blue. Tyon, afro, but like brown. Give him the Rico afro. Just fuck it. It'd be funny. So anyway, Shania rats us out, and that's when we get our first proper confrontation with M as well.
Yeah.
At the end of this, you get the whole N being a prick, which I genuinely love. He kind of brings that almost campy energy to him at times, where again, it's like I think the reason that I like Noah more is just because I have a lot of respect for the voice actor, just because of playing these two different roles necessarily. I don't think Noah's.
I do love when they do that with people. Like, encountered it earlier this year in Horizon, even, and then I've other games
because Noah's
had similar things.
Noah has his moments, but for the most part, it's a pretty kind of, I don't know what to say, not necessarily bland, but it's a very muted performance where it's just very. He's there, but there's not much range in Noah for the most part. He has his moments, don't get me wrong, and he has his scenes.
It's more,
but it's very
subtle.
Reserved. Yeah. He's very much of a reserved character.
Dude.
But I respect Noah a lot more because of his other performance as N, which is the opposite of that. It kind of adds to Noah's performance a lot more. So obviously you have N, and then you have M, whose special ability is kind of, what's the technical term? What are they calling it in the Xenoblade fandom?
Good question.
Is it mind control?
Swapping?
Body swapping?
We'll say body swapping.
Mixture
because
of both.
I can't search the Xenoblade wiki fast enough.
Body swapping.
Mind control / body swapping is what we'll go with.
Hang on, let me just search the letter M real quick.
Oh, I'm sure you'll get it straight away. Definitely won't be a problem. But yeah. So that's it, yeah. Very long scene, very long set of cutscenes and fights. That also lasted for fucking ever.
Dude, but that scene after the fight with M, where it's just like constantly switching and it's just one continuous shot panning around, that's so cool.
It's a good scene.
It was such good work, dude.
It's a good scene, and then I love a good, like, haha, it's easy, just kill a fucking idiot. Go on, do it. Just kill it. And I love the voice acting in that scene because they recorded both of the lines twice and they changed
Mhm.
so M is saying just kill her and then Mio is saying just kill me, and it's the exact same word. I just love that kind of shit because it reminds me of the episode of Doctor Who where they did the same kind of thing where someone was copying the other person and they both started saying the words at the exact same time, and it's kind of creepy as fuck when one of them's
yeah.
copying the other but you no longer know who's in control because they're both saying it at the same time. Fucking
Yeah.
love that shit. It's
Yeah.
good stuff.
Also, according to XenoWiki, M developed the ability to control and possess the bodies of others.
There you go. Mind control.
So it's just possession.
There you
Hippity
go.
hoppity. This is
Yeah,
my
but it's
property.
also body swapping basically.
Truth. And everyone loves the body swap trope.
Everyone loves Freaky Friday, dude. It's great film. It's classic. But now, obviously that happens basically at the start, which is of that little ruse, which is fun. We'll get into that more in chapter 5, I guess. But oh no, they're losing. So current Ouroboros says, "Fuck it. I guess we'll hold them back, and Gondor can piss off somewhere because she's got to go swear at her mum and call her bitch queen again. So bye." So
Yeah.
off they go. They escape, and Noah gets captured, and then
Time-honored tradition of super easy boss fights followed by the party.
to be
being
fair,
wiped.
I feel like this is
This
the
is, like,
only
the only
time in the
time it
game where it
happens.
actually happened.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, but still,
fair
like the other
play.
games did it a bunch.
Yeah,
So
but
it just
but
made
Xenoblade 2
me
did it, like,
laugh
6
when it
bajillion
finally
times.
happened.
Yeah, I was like, finally, just what I needed.
Here it is.
Finally, I've been waiting. Xenoblade 2 prepared me for this moment. But yeah, so that happens. Everyone gets sent to jail, directly to jail. They do not collect $200 and they do not pass go. And
Tragic, really.
truly tragic, especially because Mio's time's running out. What? So you have those really well performed scenes in the prison, which again, the whole. I love chapter 7 a lot. I love the ending a lot, but I think chapter 5 scenes are probably the best scenes in the game.
Yeah.
I feel like this little movie section from chapter 5 into chapter 6 is probably, in terms of the story, my favorite part of the game.
Dude, it goes on for so long.
Hey, I love it, dude.
Yeah.
I love it.
Metal
But
Gear
it's so
Solid
good.
has always had me prepared for these kind of things.
Yeah, hell yeah, I love it.
Half an hour of movies. Let's go.
I love it when it's movies, and I love it when it's based on it's character development, relationship stuff. I'm like, hell yeah, this is what I want. This is what the simp wants.
And then
Let's
as soon as chapter 6 was like, oh, you're gonna walk for a little bit. I'm like, okay, gonna save it and go to bed now.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Get
kept going.
I'll
I
get the
kept
second
going.
half of the
I
movie
kept
when
going.
get
I was
back
like, I
from
couldn't
work.
sleep.
I wasn't sleeping that night.
I wasn't
Nah.
sleeping.
I got to stew on it for a whole work day, so that was fun.
I couldn't stew on it. I was fucking distraught.
Same.
I literally, Cal saw what I was like. I was fucking
Yeah.
distraught. I literally was broken. I was a broken man that day. I genuinely, I was
Just
not in a
like
good
Noah.
place. I was not in a good place.
I think my response to finishing that chapter involved a cowboy hat. Group chat. It involved the cowboy hat emote.
You know what?
Where's my
That checks
phone?
out.
Where's my phone? I'm gonna try and find the photo. It was like I don't mind. I don't mind showing a photo of me mentally distraught. That's me from the ending. That was me after chapter 5. That was me after chapter 5, dude. I was dead. I was like, genuinely, I was fucking dead. If you want to know, if you want to keep track, if anyone of you have playing the game at home of what point did Ethan cry in the cutscene, yeah, of course it was the my Noah nut line was the one that got me. That was the point where I did cry like a bitch and didn't stop until that whole fucking scene ended. Because yeah, I don't mind. I cry at every video game, so I don't mind. I'll admit it.
Hell yeah.
I'm a big boy. I'm fine with my emotions. But no, that scene just fucking broke me. To be honest, that scene genuinely broke me.
I went
like
back
I say,
and rewatched it before we started this episode, and I'm like, damn.
I'm not watching that again until I play it again, until I
Yeah,
feel
it
broken. Yeah.
It was a really good scene. It was
Like I
definitely one
say,
of those ones where I was like, wow, this
Yeah.
is
I
good.
just needed to refresh my memory
it's
my
like
memory on
the
it.
homecoming scene is literally painful to watch. Like it's one of
Yeah.
those scenes where it's like it's so well done. I have this screenshot here. This fucking like that fucking killed me. Oh my god, the brightness, bro. Right, hang on. In the dark. Oh no, it's still
It's
not
not
focusing.
working.
There you go. There you go. You can guys
Oh.
see it.
No,
It's
it's
still
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
in the
I
glow.
think the people know.
Yeah. That fucking broke me, and it was like it's been fun, literally. Like I fucking
Mm.
and the funny thing was I was playing it at like 10, so my family was still up, so they were like then they were going to bed, so I was like, oh, I better go say night, and they literally are like, what the fuck happened, because I literally have like tears down my fucking
Cat
face.
girls.
I'm like, yeah, the cat girl died. But no, like I say, Mio was like, yeah, Mio is my favorite character, so in Xenoblade, period. So I was like, it fucking broke me, and I was like, oh man, I've not felt this shit since Your Name. This is great. Like this is great. As I get sad really easily and I cry really easily, but there's a sick part of me that loves it. Like there's a sick part of me that's like, I love the pain. Like yes.
I understand what you mean. There's the weird part of me that respects it when a game or any other media can actually make me feel to such a degree.
Yeah.
But no, so I cried like a bitch, and I was like, "This is dumb." And then obviously, like I said, what a fucking cliffhanger! Like genuinely,
Legit.
like genuine. What chapter ending of chapter 5 is my favorite part of the game. Well, from a story perspective, it's fucking incredible. I love it. Even though it made me feel fucking horrendous, dude. Like genuinely, but you know, I'll live. It's fine. And then chapter 6, we had the bullshit dream scenario. So
Yeah, that stuff.
we had basically you get a bit of backstory on N from this point of view, because you basically get to see all of Noah's past lives. Well, some of them, should we say, some of the more important ones. And basically, the whole from what we get is, it seems that every time that Noah and Mio don't meet every time, but every time they do, they seem to find each other, fall in love, and then tragically die in some way, shape, or form. Which is, it's always fun. Always a good bit of
Classic.
tragedy.
I loved this,
Dude,
because
I'm a
this
massive...
is just one big callback to Xenogears and the story between Faye and Ellie, and it was hitting me. It was hitting me. It felt good to see this again. Like I said, this game is just Takahashi making Xenogears 2. Finally. But with cat girls instead of redheads.
I'm a big fucking sucker for like star-crossed kind of relationship stuff, like the way it's like the powers that be. It's like I do, and it's same with like, it's a tragedy, because the truth of the matter is it's like they're trying to break this cycle of Ionios and everything that's happening, but they couldn't break the cycle that surrounds themselves, because they still end up separated at the end and alone. Which is kind of tragic. Which is the one thing N was trying to stop, and it's still it's like the one sacrifice. I had more photos. I thought I had more photos, but like this is the image. This is what I essentially call the. This is when N snapped. Was what I believe is losing their son. Well, leaving their son, should I say? Which is interesting, because he has the Ouroboros mark on there on his hand. So how do kids? So my assumption my assumption is because they talk about people who broke the cycle or broke out of the cycle. My assumption is I'm assuming that if they have a kid, the kid's not part of there's not a part of the cycle, and they just live their full life. Is my assumption, because he doesn't have a mark. So.
Makes sense.
But no, the fact and that's like, again, the thing I love about N is, unlike, Zanza, who is just like, I'm just a cunt for cunt's sake, basically. Generic villain.
You can
woo.
actually see the path that brought him to his choice there.
If you
Yeah.
imagine someone showing you, look, there's you with the love of your life. Every single time you meet her, you both end up dying, and it always ends in tragedy. And you are just the person that has not only just experienced losing your significant other, but now you've just had to say goodbye to your son, who you'll never see again. And it's like, and they have to live with that, and it's tragic. And so it's like, yeah, okay, I understand why he snapped, and at the same time, you also understand why M kind of, in the end, despised him for it, because it wasn't her choice.
Yeah.
Because unlike all the other consoles, it seems like M didn't have a choice in this. She was basically forced into it because N wanted his perfect world, which is basically just her, which is like I say, I really like the idea of, for them to break this cycle of Aeonis, they also have to kind of, it's also, N has to let go of this idea
You have to come to
of
terms
keeping them
with.
together, and
Yeah.
And there's plenty of stuff. It's like, it's like how to get to World Ender, Noah needed the power of Noah and Mio needed to come together, and it's also N's obsession and kind of need for that also was his downfall and what twisted him. It's like, it's very they're very much, N is basically 2 steps ahead of Noah, where it is, if Mio wasn't there, he would have snapped again. That would have been the exact same situation. He would have felt the exact same way, which is very interesting. I also love I said to Kyle, the M Mio swap twist is basically the Fiora twist done correctly, where
Yeah.
where you don't kill someone off for a cheap fucking punch because it's not, and then you actually care when they come back because you actually know the fucking character.
That too, and the person who died, it's also still it's still a bummer.
Yeah, it's a tragedy, really.
Yeah, it still has weight, regardless of who it is that actually died there.
Yeah, definitely. Because it's like, yeah, again, and also just the reaction that N has, the actual, devastation.
Watching
it's a
him
snap, yeah.
again. Yeah.
Again, and realize that this time it's for good as well. Is kind of crazy. Which is when this is the point where I turn to actually like N as a character from this point onwards, and him kind of coming to acceptance, really, with letting go of this kind of and again living in the moment, because that's what this whole game has been about, is life and doing what you doing what you want with the time that you have left, and finding the people that you want to spend that time with, and that nothing lasts forever, which is the big thing I get from this, with world separating, everybody dying, is nothing lasts forever. And the whole idea of Mobius and this never-ending cycle is
the endless now.
The endless now. And yeah, I just really like it. And then obviously, Mio's back. He snaps. We get the fucking play to the end. Cool story, bro. Time to go and rescue Mum because she's sleeping. That's the plan. Got plenty of images. Long-haired Mio. Were you a long-haired Mio or a short-haired Mio, Hunter? That's the real question.
Long.
Okay, I was short.
It's fine.
I hated the way
change it in the options menu.
Yeah, you can change it. I originally picked long, and then I hated it. I was like, no, I actually like short more.
Nah. Long hair is usually just my preference on most designs, because that's how I am.
I see how it is.
Yeah, short hair is cool for a change up. I like when Zelda's hair was short in the Breath of the Wild or the Tears or Tears of the Kingdom trailer reveal. I wasn't heartbroken or anything. I'm like, oh, that's a cool change, but I probably prefer the long hair design.
Well, my whole thing with it was My whole thing was in my head I was like, I don't want her to just live her life because of the other M. Was basically me. I was like, don't change yourself because that person gave you your life. You still need to be you as you move forward. That was my reasoning for it. And also because the hair clipped in the fucking costume and I hated it. It was pissing me off.
Oh.
But my canon reason was, you be you. Don't live by somebody else. Don't keep their hair because they gave you your life. She gave you your life because you're you, not because you're just another chance. Like,
Yeah.
that was my reasoning. But hey, I don't mind either way. You do you.
I really hope that for DLC they give us those 2 console outfits for Noah and Mio.
Really?
Because
Oh
those
yeah,
are so cool.
Mm-hmm.
The N and M costumes.
What I think's really interesting, I know we're going that that's like, again, DLC things will be, if it is an epilogue, what will their costumes be?
Oh yeah.
Because they won't have the
Oh, yeah.
costumes that they have now, and if they do, I'll be very mad, and I'll be like, "Why, Takahashi? This makes no fucking sense. These clothes don't exist." Will he still have? Why will he have Lucky 7? What is Riku? Whoa, who fucking knows, dude? What?
Why is Riku?
I really like the theory that Riku is
How is
Alphys.
Riku?
It's such a dumb theory, but I'm also
It makes
expecting
no
that to
sense,
happen in
but
the
I
fucking
love it.
DLC, because of course it would. They'd be like,
Yeah.
How else would
What if
Melia know him?
What if
Think about it.
Riku was Zeke?
Dude, what if?
yeah, a fucking Elvis of all people, dude. Like, genuinely, that'd be so stupid. That'd be so
It would
fucking
be.
stupid.
I don't
but
know how I'd feel about it if that was
it's
real.
dumb. I'm just like, oh god, I'm not making that reference. There's another Dot 2. We've already had one Dot 2 reference today. We're not having a second Dot 2 reference. That's too many Dot 2. But there's like this really shitty, like, fucking CG scene in Dot 2 that I'll have to show you one day, where like David Tennant turns from like this wrinkly old little fucking man into like regular David Tennant, and that's what I'm just expecting is like this little Nopon starts glowing and then just fucking expands into Elvis as he fucking flies through the sky, and I'm like, no!
It would be like if we physically saw Morgana change from a cat to a human.
Yeah, I'm not about that.
Rather than him just showing up as his weird human self one day. That was weird. That was already weird.
Yeah. So we go to the top of the mountain. Off we go to the peaks of the mountains, where we find out that basically their old place, basically their old little colony, which was done for weird experiments on people, is still going. And not only is Kamaravi still alive, but so is Miyabi as well. And then also, like, fucking whatever his name was, Mwamba, fucking Mwamba. Fucking legend, dude. Fucking dies instantly. Hey guys, remember
the best hero.
Literally, that's literally what this game did. Is it genuinely? It's like, remember guys, it's me Mwamba. Remember me from the first 3 hours high. It's me Mwamba. That's me Mwamba. I'm out. I'm going back to the city. Be sure to look out for Mwamba in the city. See you later, guys. And then you walk around, you're like, holy shit, it's Mwamba. And he's like, hey guys, how's it going? It's me, Mwamba. Console Mwamba, dude, there he is.
He'll be in the DLC.
No. I heard you need a new M. Mwamba.
Oh no.
It would be really funny if he was just like at N's side after that.
Yeah.
Oh man,
so funny. Anyway, after you meet up with Miyabi and Mwamba and you deal with all that stuff, I really do like the whole Miyabi backstory with Mio, by the way.
Yeah, it was a good one.
That was really good.
It's one of my favorite scenes. I've got a load of screenshots of this scene with the moats everywhere and them too.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
a really
it
good
looks really
scene.
Cool.
That's actually a screenshot that I did share because I was like, there's no way in hell that Hunter will guess that that's a late game scene. Because I was like, when I finished it, I was like, that looks like Hunter. Like if you saw it, you'd probably be like, I could have probably already have seen that one. So I was like, I could probably get away with that one.
I wasn't gonna read too deeply into it.
Yeah. So that was cool. Like I say, I feel like Kamaravi coming back and all the whole Ethel stuff, I could have done without it personally. I get it. You made this cool design, and you couldn't think of a way for them to meet Kamaravi earlier, so you had to do it now. But I still thought it was a bit dumb, especially because
showed up the first time.
Yeah,
screw that guy.
Yeah, it's also because it's like you could have had Miyabi survive some other way. You could have very easily have come up with some random other RPG bullshit other than, well, yeah, we just raised the dead and we also brought back Kamaravi and fucking whoever just for shits and gigs. Yeah, power of friendship. You know, the usual. You know, there's plenty of heroes. There's plenty of heroes to go around. There's that robot with Sagiri. Who, that whole fucking play, very weird, dude. Very weird. I also want to say that that's bullshit. Why did you give, like, the Lycra suits to the female characters, but you give the guys some, like, mecha robot shit? No. Give the mecha robot shit to the girls and give Lance that skin tight suit. This is bullshit. I am not... I was so excited. I remember saying to Kyle, I was like, I can't wait to see Lance in Sagiri's outfit because it'll be a skin suit. Because I saw it on... Was it Senna? Because Senna already owned it. And I was like, oh, it's like you know, your classic, like Anne's Panther suit, like kind of latex suit. I was like
the Zero suit.
Yeah, Zero suit. I was like, can't wait to see it on Lance. So I go out of my way to level up Lance to get the suit, and it's just his regular suit with like 2 metal like shoulders. I'm like, fuck off. If you're gonna do it, be horny with everyone. I want to see Lance in his cat suit.
The way that the clothes on the other classes worked was disappointing in a lot of cases.
I don't get... Some of them I don't get. For example, with Miyabi, with Lance, you get the whole fucking shebang. You get him in the fucking Sia costume and everything. You get him in the dress and the bow.
Weird.
But...
like, a lot of the time, all it does is, like, change their jacket.
Yeah.
And, like, half the time it doesn't look... Half the time you're lucky if one person looks good in it.
That's why I turned it off entirely, because I was like, it's not that good of a feature, to be honest.
Like, I would leave it on just because I liked to check it, and then I'd switch them to their other costumes after that, but, like, yeah. Like,
I just check every now and then and be like, it's time for a little bit of a cosplay session where I just look in the menus like, oh, so that's what that looks like. Cool.
yeah,
Whatever.
Like,
I'm not
I was
fully
disappointed when almost nobody looked good with the double guns outfit, because that guy's design, Gray, his design on his own was sweet.
I really
and everyone
liked
else
Gray's story as well. Gray was kind of a very
Gray was cool. He was sweet, but almost everyone else, barring like I think Tyon looked pretty good in that one. But
I liked Uni with
Uni
the
looked
costume.
alright in it.
Oh yeah, she looked good too. But like the others looked pretty dumb. Lands with his beefy shoulders with a little cape flowing off of him. He was goofy.
I just like to say I don't like the... I like the cute like concept behind it. I just didn't like it in principle. I just kept everybody in their their DLC outfits because I bought the DLC, so I was like, I'm getting my fucking money's worth. I'm getting my palette swaps. But no, I just didn't know. I wasn't a huge fan. So obviously we climb to the top of the mountain after a few, you know, false starts here and there. Like, I remember the Nopon and that guy with the fucking mech who I started a side quest with forever just kept showing up at the worst times. I was like, finally, time to see Nier, and he'd just show up in the corner of my vision. I'll be like, you fucking prick. I have to walk over to him, and he's like, oh no, my Nopon fell over and now he's dying. And I'm like, good, maybe you'll leave me alone now.
Natural
selection.
Like,
no, send him back. I'm like, fucking hell. So I had to hold that hand back.
He can't get up.
Yeah. It was dumb. But you know. And then finally, we summon the castle in the sky, the weird fucking crown part of the mech, which is just randomly appears. I don't know where it was hiding. Like, that's bullshit. It wasn't hiding. It was in a fucking different plane of existence.
But that's still hidden by definition.
That's a good hiding spot.
Yeah, but I'm like, that's
it's
cheating.
just cheating at hide and seek.
Yeah, that's fucking cheating in hide and seek. That is like, no one does. He didn't find you. Sorry. It's like 4. It's 20-5 for those of you who are wondering why I'm yawning. That's why.
Keeping score.
Yeah.
We're about 2.5 hours into this.
No, we're probably
We're
gonna
on
make
chapter
it to 3.
6 though,
we're
so
gonna
we're
make
almost
it to.
there.
We're gonna make it to 3. Don't you worry. I
Dude,
feel
how far do we have to go to overtake Royal?
Oh, that's like 3.5 hours. That's far too long. I can't make it 3.5 hours. That's for sure. I don't know why I'm checking this now during the podcast. We should probably carry on. So we use the
316.
316. We'll
We
see.
can pass that.
We'll see. I'd like to because it'd be funny, but also, if we do run out of content, we'll run out of content. I'm not gonna just sit there going, "So guys, how's the weather?" You know.
We'll be like Quentin reviews and just make our just keep pushing and stalling for time to make the video long.
Exactly. Anyway, so we open up Nia's little area. I really liked the Xenoblade 2 music riffs that they played here.
I like Dromark's head on the
I
arch.
didn't even notice Dromark's head on the arch.
Yeah.
Where
and
the
entrance into her little palace chamber, Dromark's head is there.
That's cute. Just like in the like a mural, like kind of thing.
No, like a mount.
Yeah, like
his head is mounted on the wall.
What, his actual head?
She got tired of his nonsense.
Send me a screenshot of this. I want to see this. This is not. He's not dead.
Let's see Flora heal this one.
Don't you know? Like, this is bullshit. There's no way that he's dead. I'm thinking that I'm thinking of like a stone statue version. You know? Like,
yeah, I feel like he can't. I feel like it can't really be his head, right? Because I totally ignored this too. But,
There it is.
Is it his actual head?
Sure looks like it.
Nah, I disagree.
Sure
It'd explain why he's not in this fucking video game. Where's Dromark, Takahashi?
Well, maybe he's just not in this video game because he's unnecessary.
Well, Driver and Blade Hunter.
Yeah,
if the driver's
who cares?
still alive, the Blade is still alive. I need answers. Where's my boy Dromark?
I'm looking this up. Dromark and Xenoblade 3. Let's have a look. I'm looking this properly. Dromark and Xenoblade 3. Really. That's not the answer. That's just someone on Reddit saying that they really like Dromark. That's not what I was after.
Only on Reddit.
Only on Reddit. I really like Dromark. Is that what the No, it's not. That's a stone. That's stone. That's like a stone wax. That's like a stone work of his fucking face.
Well, it's the only reference Dromark got in this video game.
It sucks to be him.
It really does.
Yeah, okay. Dromark having the same amount of story relevance in 3 as he did in 2.
Yep.
Pour one out for Dromark.
Who knows, bro? Who knows?
Tiger.
Anyways, speaking of people almost dying,
yeah,
Nia got stabbed.
She did.
The fact that this happened as soon as she didn't even get to stretch before she got impaled was hilarious to me. It made me crack up. I was like, ah!
It was funny, but then I was also like, it was when the Xenoblade nerd went into me. I was like, didn't hit the core crystal, so she's fine. Like that was like that's
oh
the
no!
Moment when I was like, that was the moment when I was like, I spent too much time in this franchise at that point. That's when I was.
I was under no illusions that she was actually dead.
Neither was I, but it was the fact. But it wasn't the fact that I was like, oh, it's an anime game, she'll live. It was literally the fact that I was like, no, missed the core crystal, and I was like, you fucking nerd, go take a walk outside, like go fucking touch grass at that point. Like,
I mean, Nia herself even commented on that later. She's just like, there was a few more inches to the left.
Yeah,
they'd have hit the core. I'd be dead.
But yeah, so you have that fight with D and J.
DJ. And this is where you learn that D is just some guy.
I liked it. I thought it was funny.
And
He's
it's
a
great.
psycho. I loved it.
I'm fine with it. I'm
the
resigned
best
to it at this point.
that isn't N.
I
And
loved it.
he's the
I loved it because it's just like, again, with all these characters, with these consoles, it's like you don't really get a lot of backstory for most of them. So you're just like, why so many of you so like why you guys like this? Like I understand some of you, but I don't get the rest of you. Why you like this? So to just get the look behind one of them and be like, no, this guy's a fucking nutter. It at least gives you that hint of, okay, not all of them are doing this for some higher purpose. A lot of them are just doing it because of the power trip fantasy and they just want to cause mayhem and just want to basically live forever. And I'm like, that's cool. I respect that because realistically, even though there's nothing realistic about it, if this was a potential in like the real world, those are the kinds of fuckers that would sign this contract, are the people that are like, I want to cause more suffering. Why not? It's fun.
Some people just like to watch the world burn.
Exactly. And I liked it. I liked it quite a bit. I also didn't hate the whole urine going, like I say, going, peace, I'm out of here, bitch. Because you know, I was like, I was happy for do what you want, have a redemption arc, whatever, but make sure he's fucking like kill him
I was
off.
happy to see him go.
Yeah, I didn't want it to be like one of those things where he like sticks in like as a story character now, where he'll be like walking behind people, or he'll be like, I'm gonna go back to the city and learn my lesson and take up crochet.
If they would have done that, I might have quit.
Yeah, exactly. So it was cool enough, and then obviously I absolutely adored when Nia came back.
Oh yeah.
With angry Welsh noises instantly. I was like, yes. Welcome back. It's everyone's second favourite cat girl now. Welcome back. You've been replaced. Your daughter's better than you. Which
my favorite part was while all the times that the camera would hang on her after the party was leaving, and it'd be like, oh, pretending to be all regal is exhausting.
Yeah. But no, I guess because I still because you didn't do the Nia side quest, did you? In the post game, it's a good side quest. It's a good side quest.
It is.
Both of them are good side quests, but one of them is just like, it's like I say, Nia, like Malia got the short straw, like royally in this like scenario.
Did.
Like, yeah, but we thought Nia got the short straw as well, but that didn't turn out to be the case here. Like, it's just like, it's very weird because it's like basically Malia's side quest hunter was all about like, it's just her going around trying to help people a lot, and it's basically her going, look at all this stuff that Shulk and everybody taught me, and they're dead now, and I'm alone, but I've got to keep moving forward. Whereas Nia's is very much just like, look, here's the history of the world. I'm going to take you on a world tour, and she's like, she starts showing people like the places that were part of the Xenoblade 2 world and going behind the difference with it, and then having an awkward chat with Mio where she's like, yeah, so hi. And she's like, I'm really glad I got to meet you. And Mio's like, okay, that's cool. It's just very heavily implied that that Nia's like, oh yeah, look, I finally meeting my daughter after so long.
Yeah,
which is cool. I feel like it. I'm glad that it was like we all guessed it from the instant. We were like, oh, it's Nia's daughter. It's Nia's daughter. It's got to be Nia's daughter. They look the same. Why would they have a character that looks the exact same? That's like really weird. But again, it was wholesome, and also it was inside content as well, which I also like, which was good. It wasn't like a huge plot point or something like that. That was like, oh yes, you're here. You're part of Ouroboros because you're part of the royal line or whatever bollocks that they came up with. It's just like a cute little awkward like, sup, how is it? By the way, you have two siblings and they may have a different mum. That's not weird in the slightest. Not in the slightest.
Roll with it.
Just roll with it.
Two different moms, possibly.
You have three moms, by the way. God damn it, Rex. Rex the polychad versus Shulk the fucking
virgin.
The virgin Shulk versus the Chad Rex, dude. To be fair though, it is interesting because it's like you never really see like poly characters in video games, really. So the fact that Takahashi was just like, yeah, fuck it, dude, fuck it, he won. Man played gacha and got the fucking 5-star rolls, baby. Like, fuck it. I almost respect him in a mad way. We'll get to it.
Honestly.
We'll talk about it later, but I respect. I'm like, there was no way that you could solve that fucking degenerate storyline. So I'm just like, yeah, fuck it. Fair enough, dude. Fair enough. Anyway, so Nia's back. She gives you, she tells you where Melia is, and she's like, "Yo."
Oh, right.
Melia.
Before they told us where Melia was, it was really funny to be like learning they were like, find the Queen of Agnes or whatever, and I'm like, well, just screw Melia, I guess. Sucks to be her. What gives? And then when Nia finally gave us that info, I'm like, oh, cool. She is
Like I
just
say,
being totally
poor
neglected.
Melia, dude. Poor Melia.
Yeah.
Great performance though from Jenna Coleman
Yeah.
in the end. Like I say, good shit. And I also like, it's like, you can tell they're old, like they're still the same character, but you can definitely tell that a lot of time has changed. Like a lot of time has gone, and it's not just from their character designs either. I really like Nia's new design, by the way. It's definitely the best Nia design, mainly
It's a
because
really
I
cool
didn't like
design.
the other two the old two Nia designs. So now I'm like, yes.
I didn't really like those either, to be
And
honest.
this design, I was like, no, I like this now. I like this design. It's better. Very, very cool. And then Melia's just Melia. Melia's always had good designs. This is probably my favorite one though.
Yeah.
Melia's little hair swirls are really bouncy in this game.
Yeah. It also just
Yeah,
makes me laugh
sure.
that it's been like thousands of years and Melia's like, look, I've probably just hit 30. And I'm like, fucking hell, you still got like a long way to go in this life of being like sad. Like,
Oof.
you know what I mean? It's like, it's been thousands of years and you're like 30. That's sad, right? You're like,
Wow.
you're gonna be fucking sitting in that corner looking at that Monado for like another 10,000 years at this rate. Like, fucking hell. You poor soul. Find someone for fuck's sake.
Hear me out, Melia. Just go have your own fun with the Monado.
Yeah. Why not? Why keep it in a fucking closet? Waste of fucking space.
Yeah.
Like waste of fucking
Shelf
space.
didn't use it right anyway.
Yeah. It's one that he created anyway. So it's just a machine. Anyone can wield that shit. Just fucking swing it around.
Yeah. Just use it to chop down a tree or something. I don't know.
I bet you she does.
Yeah.
I bet you sometimes she just gets fucking bored.
Sometimes she needs to light a fire and just ignites the little lightsaber tip. Be like,
Yeah. Do you think when she's a monarch, do you think that she like when she knights someone, she actually uses just Shulk's Monado? Do you think that's what she does? Do you think that's like the royal sword?
I would.
That'd be amazing.
Probably is. Yeah. But anyway, she tells you where Melia is and what you need to do. So then you go over to the fucking random Nopon that mentioned a boat like 70 hours ago, and you're like, "Yo, we need that boat."
Samson.
And he's like, "Hello, have you played The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker? We need you to go and do a Triforce quest real quick." And then here's a load of metal shot along the map. Go and find it. Hunter's favorite part.
Dude, Chapter 7 was really padded.
Oh
like,
yeah, we are into Chapter 7.
In general, like not just that.
Oh, it is Chapter 7, isn't it? Yeah. Oops.
I feel like the dungeon following that, like the actual final dungeon, was padded in a way as well. To be honest.
Yeah, we'll talk. Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of the final dungeon. I mainly ran past every enemy that I saw because I was done at that point. I was over leveled and I was like, peace, homie, I'm fucking out of here. I get what they were trying to do. It almost felt like a mixture of Prison Island and the final, the World Tree of Xeno 2, where it kind of looked World Tree-ish, but it was more of the length and design of Prison Island, where it was more of like a little mini gauntlet that you had to go through instead of this fucking massive section of metal and tree that you just had to fight your way through.
My thing is that I feel like after the next end confrontation, you didn't really need as much of the dungeon that there was left.
Yeah.
Also,
no, I don't. I personally don't.
Why was Console? Why there too.
No one was asking about console X and Y. They were not like, "Yo,
No
guys,
one-
what about
no
what
one
about
was.
xylophone, bro? What about
The
console
man,
xylophone?"
the man was literally so inconsequential that they were like, "Oh, he's here, fight him," and then he didn't even get like a cutscene after you kill him.
Also,
You could
he's
just
here.
you could just kill him and move on
Same with
while
Y,
he's
yeah.
disintegrating.
Yeah, and it was very weird. I don't know why they did that. It almost felt like they ran out of time to do the cutscenes, but I know they didn't because this game sat on a shelf for 6 months, so I know they didn't run out
Yeah.
of time. So it's very weird
Yeah,
the
so
way
it was
that
just
went.
dumb. I'm like, why are you even here?
Yeah, I didn't hate that area, but it was fine. Also, I really did like the boats cutscene was very funny. By the way, I did like the fucking.
It was.
It's like
Oh,
it was
yeah.
like
That was great.
it's like a Universal Studios ride, dude. It was like fucking we off the cliff.
Yeah. All the story around that section was great. It was just the actual game playing part of a lot of Chapter 7 was starting to annoy me.
No, I definitely agree. It did it hit its kind of stride at that point where it's like, okay, come on, wrap it up. We'll get to the fucking boss as well, the never-ending fucking
God.
boss fight. But I guess first we have to free Melia from her prison.
Also want to say before we keep going with
Yeah,
this,
go for it.
before we go into I was called Nucleus Origin,
Yeah.
there was the little Noah side story with Chris.
Alright.
Oh, we can't forget that.
If you feel this is worth talking about, because I don't have much to say about this.
I don't see the point in it, to be honest. I feel like Noah didn't need a side. I feel like they just were like, shit, Noah needs the side story thing that we gave everybody else. Chris, everybody. I don't
It
know.
was super
it's
weird that Chris was a console. I don't get
Same.
it.
I still don't think it fits with his character personally. I still
No.
don't think it fits properly. Because, like I say, he'd have to have amazing intuition to be like, I bet you Noah is the person that's going to try and attempt to save the world, so I'm going to become a console in case that happens. Because for very personal reasons, it felt like it was kind of weird. Wasn't a huge fan of it.
If they had ever built up that he saw something like that in Noah, then maybe that
Yeah.
would have worked, but they didn't really. It was just
I
like,
do
oh,
like the
here's
cutscenes of Chris and Noah when it's not the console stuff, though. That stuff's really
Yeah,
good.
yeah. I like him. Like, I like all of that.
Make the song your own and stuff like that.
That's why it was
Which
so
obviously
like,
hits a lot for the end as
it.
well with the little bit there.
Because I liked all of what Chris was doing as far as the story that got with him and Noah previously, but his role as a console was stupid.
Yeah. Like I say, wasn't a huge fan of it, but it was like it did the it did the job. It was fine. It was all right. Didn't hate it.
It sure happened.
It sure happened. I thought other people's side stories were more interesting, to be honest. Like I felt like Mio's had more of a fucking like with Miyabi. I thought that was a bit better done. Because it tied back to the reason why they were sent to Gamma and sent to Teach, and it also ties back into the Miyabi stuff, and it ties back into why it even ties into why Senna doesn't feel too great about it. It's like everything ties in there nicely where I'm like, okay, that wraps up a lot of threads that I felt like needed wrapping up. I wasn't sitting there going, oh, but what about Chris? No,
I wasn't really asking about him before they brought it up.
Yeah.
But I was just like, oh, well,
Yeah.
I guess you're here.
Why not? But anyway, into Origin. Malia's tied up. She got to get out, bro. And I guess N's there too. Any.
Yeah.
Good old N. I love this scene. I love the whole N fight and scene and everything. It's pretty hype. I like quite a lot of it. Again, it's like that kind of, we talked about it earlier, but him going through that kind of process of acceptance and moving on and coming to terms with nothing lasts forever and you need to, you make the most of the time you've got. And also, like I say, sympathetic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that he didn't have a Mobius transformation or whatever either. He was just still him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
YouTube phase 2.
Mm-hmm. No, I like that quite a bit. I also, it's just a good fight. The music's
It's a
slaps,
solid
by the way.
fight,
The fucking
yeah.
song's
Oh,
really
the
good.
music is so
The song's
good.
really
That's the
good.
one thing the Mobius guys have, is a really sweet battle track.
They
Yeah.
really did.
But no, like I say, like just in general, I liked Ant as a character a lot. You feel sympathetic. You see, like you get that resolution with him, and it's a bit anime. The whole Noah and Mio, these versions of Noah and Mio being the kind of, I don't know, they use some bullshit anime like you're the hope that they didn't have or whatever, and it's like still doesn't fucking explain how you're in the world, but okay, we'll roll with it. Whatever. You're the hope. Who cares? I don't know how that works. I don't know how hope works. Was it a glitch in the system? Here's my assessment, guys. Is when they became consoles, there was that little whatever that bollocks hope was. There was just a glitch in the system, and they were brought back again, and they were kept in the cycle, and they weren't aware of it. That's my glimmer of hope. Is they were just kept in the cycle, and they were unaware.
Yeah.
Because who knows? Because when you become a console, what are you actually? Like, are you just a part of the... They never really properly explained it, really. Like, are you a part of the simulation in a way? Are you part of the AI because you're eternal? Are you just a part of the AI?
Who knows, dude?
Who knows?
Maybe the epilogue will explain it.
No, I fucking hope not. The last thing I want, if they do an epilogue, I don't want them to be like, yo, guys, here it is. Here's the story, You're gonna... Rex is gonna be in it, Noah's gonna be in it. Shulk's gonna be in it. And it's gonna be about them finding... Like, it's gonna be about... Who knows what? Noah and Mio finding each other again. And I'll be like, this sounds sick. And then they go, and the bad guy's a bunch more fucking consoles. That's when I'll be like, no, bad Monolith Soft. Don't do it. No. But no.
They're all just sentient jelly people.
Yeah, I'd rather. That's better. Better idea, Hunter. Better idea.
Way to go, Hunter.
Good idea.
Woo!
Good job, pal.
The same mind that brought you Charlie Ouroboros.
You're really proud of Charlie Ouroboros, aren't you?
It's really funny, man.
You're never letting
We've
Charlie
been
Ouroboros
recording
go.
for almost 3 hours.
Yeah, he's never letting Charlie Ouroboros go. Anyway.
Final boss?
Well, I was gonna say we gotta give Malia a fucking 5 seconds of fame real quick.
All right.
Yeah.
I forgot about Melia.
Yeah,
Well,
she
so
says
did
hi. She has
the
that
rest
little
of the
wink
game.
with Ricky. What the fuck's up with that? Riku, sorry. I guess we'll
Riku.
talk about that. What the fuck is up with that, Riku? What the fuck is up with Riku?
Ricky's
Like,
dead.
What
Ricky's
if
long dead.
What if Ricky is like the offspring
No.
of Riku? Like Riku is the offspring of Ricky. What if that's it?
There's no way.
Maybe there's just a
I played Future Connected, and Ricky's children weren't that cool.
Yeah, but maybe after generations of fucking
No.
lameness, they finally found a cool
they
gene.
all sucked.
You don't know. You didn't meet all of them. Maybe they had another one afterwards.
I met 2 of
Maybe.
them, and that was enough.
I don't know. It's like I say, that's why I have a feeling that it's got to be it's like they've got to do an epilogue, bro. They've got to do an epilogue. If they don't do an epilogue, I'm gonna be fucking sad. If it's a prequel,
I need closure.
Yeah, I'm gonna be very or at least for the love of God, give us a post-credit scene that just fucking tells us what happened, dude. Like, just give us some fucking closure at the end. Is that too much to ask? Is that
Just
too much
have
to
like
ask?
Tetsuya
Do you know how much that
Takahashi
fucking
walk
ending
on
killed
screen.
me? God damn it. Anyway, so yeah, Malia says thank you and yeets out of there.
Yeah, she just teleports herself out of there
Yeah, she's just like,
with
all
her
right, I'm
magic
ahead out.
staff.
So she goes. You obviously
Toodaloo.
make your way. Gondor and Monica
Toodaloo.
join you. You make your way over to fight Zed in his fucking movie theater in his IMAX screen, with his big IMAX screen where he watches everybody. I just think that's really creepy, to be honest. Like, because he
is
can
weird,
watch
isn't
anything
it?
on that fucking screen. I bet I'm like, oh no, you fucking stay away. Not a fan. Not a fan of that.
Yeah, not a fan.
Anyway, so then you get the whole reveal that Z is basically the big AI. It's the Matrix, isn't it? So he's like the big AI boss man.
Yeah.
That's real. That's trying to. It's just like a glitch in the system. Basically, it's done its job of like the two worlds have collided, and we're in this peak of it's collided. The program now that it's collected is supposed to separate the worlds again and regenerate them, and it's not done its job. It's fucking keeping everyone hostage and like, Lamau, you're mine now.
It's basically YouTube when one of our podcasts gets stuck in processing purgatory.
Yeah, basically, that's yeah, you know. We've
Oh my God.
technically got a job to finish, but we're not gonna do it, are we? Like, try again.
Man.
And then it's the final boss fight. Really, I really do like the
Yeah.
visuals behind this. I also do like that. Melia and Nia are just like kicking the outside in while
Piloting
everybody
their
else is
giant
doing it.
robots.
It's amazing
Yeah, they're
with
big
their mechs
mechas.
and whatnot.
I love the scene with where she's like, can I drop the she's like, you can drop the formalities now, and Nia just goes
Yeah.
straight into Welsh. She's like, okay,
Let's
starts
thrash 'em.
screaming. Like, I love that scene. It's great.
Incoherent Welsh noises.
I honestly wish that's also why I want an epilogue. I honestly want more interactions between Melia and Nia because they make a surprisingly entertaining duo.
Yeah.
Like every scene that they were talking in, the few scenes that we got of them together were really good.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was very cool. And then obviously we have the final boss, which I thought was way too fucking long. That first fight phase,
For
is
sure,
awful.
dude. Like the first half of it, the part where you're actually fighting him on the stage, was like I was trapped in a sea of
fucking
molasses.
pain. Yeah, it's like molasses. That's the exact same description I was gonna use.
I was trying to swim through a sea of molasses while my body was spider webbed, man. Like that's how bad it was.
It really wasn't fun.
Gameplay wise, this is not a good final boss. If you die at any point, there's no checkpoints.
Oh my
hell yeah,
God,
bro.
that would have been so
Thank
terrible.
God I was over level to hell.
Cinematically, though, it's an incredible fight to look at.
Well, sure, the presentation is great.
And it does all the cool things, like it brings in all the heroes that you helped along the way. And then Melia and Nia come out, and I screamed like a fucking baby when I saw that she had like the water versions of the Aegis swords. That's fucking sick.
I remember trying to like move
bro.
over towards Nia to be like, are those actually the Aegis swords?
It's like
Nia,
her
hold
water
still for a
powers. Yeah, she's
second.
like made water forms of them, which is cool.
Oh, cool. And I think Melia on her design, she got like Telethia wings behind her.
Yeah, they are. Which
is
like
cool
Telethia
symbolism.
Wings. Yeah.
The
really
last
cool designs.
part of the fight was real annoying for playing the sword fighter, or not the double sword fighter, with one of the backstab moves because I couldn't get behind him.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I was using gun, so I was just fucking shooting everywhere, dude. I was like,
oh,
bang, bang,
everybody
bang,
else
bang,
was
bang.
using gun. My favorite party permutation towards the end of the game was me rolling double swords and everyone else going unga bunga, shoot, shoot.
I was playing Mio with guns,
Who
which
was
made
your
it.
healer?
Who needs a healer when you just DPS everything before you can die?
Oh,
True.
my Lanta. How did you not die in this boss hunter?
I don't know.
That's funny.
Oh wait, no, right. It's because Noah's sword is broken.
Oh yeah.
Nah, I just use Mio gun. Mio meets gun. I think Noah was using Lucky 7, but he was on AI, so he just fucking does what he wants. He was just twiddling his thumbs.
Yeah.
He wasn't doing anything useful. But no. It was a good spectacle fight, but fucking the first half of it especially fucking
I feel like
painful.
even the first half, like you could have done the spectacle in a way that was faster. Like you didn't need to have him go float over past the stage every 4 minutes to make me do something else really slowly. It's like, okay,
you could have done Ouroboros back.
Yeah, get your Ouroboros powers and do the cool, like on paper, that's all really cool that you do like the special moves with their Ouroboros orders, like consecutively. I just wish it didn't take 7 years to do that.
Yeah.
Same, bro.
Also, every cutscene in this final boss is unskippable.
Hell yeah.
Well, it
just
would
as
have
it
been
should
miserable
be.
if I died.
It
just
sure
as it
would
should
have.
be. Can't skip the content.
Good job not dying, Hunter.
Good job, Hunter.
Power of
With
bullets.
with your 7 DPS comp.
That's
Party balance is overrated.
It's true.
Exactly.
Watch out for Hunter coming to revolutionize Overwatch 2.
Oh god.
A squad of 4 Reapers.
Oh god. All it's like me back in the day. That's what we used to do. Is we used to just go into the all heroes playlist, and we just go 6 Torbjorns. And we just be throwing turrets out everywhere, and it's just fucking everyone firing with turrets everywhere. And it was like, we can do this, guys. Just stick 6 turrets on the payload. They can't take us down with 6 turrets.
This reminds me of, it was like a week or 2 ago at this point. They revealed one of those new Pokemon designs, and Kyle was talking about it. Like, oh, this guy looks cool, but he probably will suck competitively.
Oh, yeah.
Like, make a competitive team of 6 of these and just come at them.
Dude, Ghost Sword Pokemon is cool.
Yeah.
But this isn't the place to talk about it. We need to talk about the ending of the good video game.
Oh yeah, that is true. It is time for ending discussion, which I'll put as a separate timestamp because I'm so kind and humble and affable and all those positive words that make me look great. So
And sexy.
Oh, thank you.
What?
Yes, thank you, Carl. You're very kind. Unfortunately, you are not a Welsh cat girl, so I'm not interested. Am I right, gamers?
You don't know what my Halloween costume is.
That's not. You are not doing that.
No, I'm not doing that.
But no, anyway. So ending time. Good ending, bro. And that's the Spoilercast. Thank you for listening, everybody. Goodbye.
Good night, everybody.
No.
I think at some point during the ending, I lost the plot of what was actually happening with the world.
Don't worry. Me and Kyle, I sat in Discord with Kyle for 3 hours as we both tried to figure out what the correct ending is to this game. Because we were like, is it the world's emerging and they're coming back? Yeah.
Yeah, my whole thing was I thought the worlds were merging, and I thought the whole reason that, Z and all of his hoopla was, it's like certain death. They're just going to collide and explode, essentially. So freeze time forever or whatever. And then I thought that they were just fighting for the right to see what happens, essentially. And I did not realize that at some point an edit undo button was introduced.
No, so the idea of the machine, I can't remember, what was the machine called that they made? Origin? The fucking sphere? Origin? The whole idea of Origin was that both worlds would make half of the technology each, and that when the worlds collide, the 2 pieces of Origin would come together, and Origin had the data once that implosion was going to kill everybody regardless. It was going to destroy both worlds regardless. There was no saving those worlds. So the idea was when the 2 pieces of Origin collided, what Origin would do was Origin had the data of both worlds and everybody in them, that the collision of Origin would activate it and would cause basically 2 separate big bangs of those universes again, copying them from the instant before they collided. So basically, resetting both worlds. The problem was when Origin came together, it didn't want to do the fucking Big Bang, and it wanted to keep both worlds basically together. So Origin was forcing the worlds to stay together when it was supposed to be pulled apart, was essentially it. We thought that it just meant a reset of the world. Me and Kyle were like, does that mean it's a reset of the worlds? Like, what's happening here? Are they in the same universe? Are they not? No, they was pulling each... All Rest is back to All Rest, and Bionis is back to Bionis. Mm-hmm. With no connection between them, or so it may seem. Post-credit scene indicates otherwise.
Yeah.
And that's what you see. That's what I love, is you didn't notice that the first cutscene from the video game is actually already the ending, which I really do like.
Yeah.
I do like when they do things like that.
Because you didn't notice it. Because it's got Uni and it's got Uni and Lance, and fucking Yorin even survived. Cringe.
Yeah, Yorin.
And Noah. And then you see the world collide, and you're like, oh, what's that? That's some weird imagery. No, that's actually what happened. And then they're back to it. Picks right back up where it left off.
Yeah.
This ending fucking killed me, though, to be honest.
It sure did.
Good lord. Do you want the other photo of me? Do you want the other photo of me? This one's a lot more flattering than that one. The last one made me look like the Linus's retiring face, whereas this one just makes... whereas that one just looks a lot more like, I'm really sad. That one's like, I'm gonna post that. I'm gonna that could be potentially be posted. Let me pose and look like I'm contemplating life. But God no, this killed my poor little heart, dude. My poor little heart could not take it.
Yep.
Just every
I
single
finished
part
this
of it.
game at 1 in the afternoon.
I finished this game at like 12 in the morning.
I still had half a day to go
finished
through.
it at like 3 a.m.
Yeah, I finished it at like 12. I was working the next day, but I still had to call Kyle and talk to him about it for 2 hours because I was like, I'm not gonna sleep, so I might as well talk to you about it till like 3 a.m. because why not?
Yeah.
But no, this whole fucking scene broke me. Me and Kyle both admitted that Poppy was the bit that got us. Like that was when the fucking floodgates started. I was like, oh god, no, they're doing this thing where it's like Lemonade. I was like, oh, that's cute, but I was like, because for some reason my brain had not clicked that the computer was Poppy. Because I 100%, my brain had 100% acknowledged that it was like the computer was built by a. Like they basically, I was like, oh yeah, the computer's built by Tora. Then that's the computer was built by Tora. I did not in my wildest dreams go, oh yeah, Poppy's what Tora built, so the machine's probably Poppy, and I didn't realize it. So when she popped out, I was like, oh god,
I think
it's Poppy.
subconsciously I was trying not to give Tora that much credit.
Yeah. Well, it's not. Poppy was the credit. She probably made the program herself.
Tora's dead.
That's true. Yeah.
He can't hurt you.
But no, I just. Like I say, it's also like I say, the reason why I feel like this has to have an epilogue is because, you know, like we were talking earlier, where it's like it feels like to me it feels like an anti-trilogy where it's usually, you know, the sadness and the despair happens in the second act, so they can have this big rise. They still get that every other Xenoblade game, like the other two, other than Torna. I'm not counting Torna though, because Torna does end in tragedy. But the mainline two Xeno games, end with a happy ending where everything's fine. The world's back, the world's fixed, everybody's happy. The end, you know. Paramithra come back. Fiora manages to somehow get her body back and is perfectly happy and everybody's fine. The end. This one is literally like, yeah, the worlds are back, but they lose each other. Noah and Mio lose each other. Uni and Tyon lose each other. Lance and Senna
My
lose their
favorite part of
friendship.
that particular interaction towards the end was him being like, 4th?
Yeah, but then it's really cute when you realise that her favourite number's 4. Because of the 4-leaf clovers.
Aw.
Yeah, it's wholesome as fuck, then.
Oh shit, you just made me sad again.
Yeah, it's wholesome as fuck when you realise that the reason she says 4 is because 4 is her favourite number.
Aw. Damn it. I hate this stupid good video game.
Yeah.
It was a
but
good
no, because
ending.
the Poppy thing made me like cry because I was like, oh look, it's Poppy. At least she has somebody. Then I saw the abomination of that fucking family tree photo, and I was like, Jesus Christ.
For a minute, I saw that. I'm like, God, that's a lot of kids. And then I was like, it can't possibly all. Were those? Because like what? I was sitting there thinking about like, wasn't he like an orphan or something, looking after other orphans? I was like, what if they were all just looking after the orphans?
That's your headcanon. That's like, for the love of God, please tell me they're all orphans.
Yeah, that's where I started going because I'm like, please make this.
No, it's
sense.
like, you know, it was a great coincidence that they had an orphan that looked just like Nia. Isn't that a good coincidence? Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God there was another Gormati that looks exactly like Nia and has the same kind of core crystal. Oh fuck. Oh no. But I like it was that's the image. I also
cursed image.
Yours clips way better than mine.
Thank you. That's the power of Elgato webcams, baby.
Dude, I also have the fucking cursed image. We all screenshotted this shit. Xenoblade 2 fans were like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" But yeah, that's interesting. I'm looking at the hair because it's like, I guess that's supposed to be her ear. You know what I mean, Kyle? You know,
look at the way Dromark's looking at the baby.
What,
he looks so confused.
Yeah. Dromark's like, what the fuck is that?
My lady, what the fuck is this?
But is that supposed to be Neo's ear? You know, the little tuft next to Nia's hand, Kyle? I assume that's supposed to be her ear.
Huh? Oh fuck, that's a picture of Noah.
But it's so funny.
I don't know.
It's so funny. I've got plenty of screenshots. I'm gonna assume that that's her ear.
That's a good assumption.
plenty of good images though.
So anyway, Xenoblade 2 fans got that, and Xenoblade 1
fans
fans
got
got
yeah. Oh, the final scene's too bright. There you go. There's a picture of Mia and Amelia and Neil.
Oh yeah,
that's a good photo.
that's good.
Got all the shipping photos because of course I did.
Mm.
You know, the classic. Oh, I'm surprised they actually went with the kiss, to be honest. I thought they were just going to blue balls everyone for the entire video game and just were like... I 100% thought they were going to do the nearly kiss and then the world separate. I was like, hey, at least we got the kiss. And it wasn't some weird kind of...
I feel like
forced water sharing weird thing that was definitely not creepy in the slightest. Oh, there you go. There you go. There's an image for you, Hunter, of the two of them from the cutscene.
Oh, nice.
Definitely implied. Cool. I mean, yeah, they're basically twins at this point. Yeah. Like I said, my disappointment was immeasurable when I was like, I remember saying to Kyle, I was like, my favorite character in the Xenoblade series is fucking Rex's daughter. That's so cringe. That's like the most cringe thing I've ever heard in my life. Is Rex's offspring, dude. Ugh. Yeah. Can't wait to meet the other two in the DLC.
Oh my god, no.
I like how Rex was like, hey, I'm Polly, but you're only one kid. Everyone's only having one child. That's it. He's like, he knows his limits. He doesn't know his limits, though. That's the thing. And my favorite part, I said that, my favorite part of that whole image, sorry to go on it too much, guys, but my favorite part of that image, I said to Kyle, was like the fact that Morag and Zeke are standing there as if they are proud of this fucking accomplishment. And I'm like, you two as parents should be fucking disappointed in yourselves.
Well, I don't know if Morag would be proud, but I think Zeke would be okay with it.
She's smiling. Well, yeah, Zeke's like, good job, chum.
That's a courtesy smile.
Nice, chum. Yeah, it was like, which one's hotter? Rex was like, yes. It was like, nice one, chum. God. Absolute tragedy. But that was, that was... The Monado was cute. Like it was a cute little reference. And then, the separating of the worlds fucking broke me.
Absolutely.
Whether it was like just a little bit where it was like, oh yeah, I wrote it out of stuff from your world so it won't disappear, but the world's reset anyway. So, because they didn't know what was going to happen, all for naught. The running bit also was like, it was very cliche, but I was also like, I was like, no,
I'm on board.
I'm on board with it. At that point, I was like,
when you get to the end of a story, you earn the cliches, man.
Exactly.
Yeah, true. And then there you go. It ends. Everybody's alone. Sad times. Everybody gets reset. Will they see
until
each
you
other?
load the game up again and you're in front of the final boss?
And you never want to go back fucking into that final boss. Tell you that
You
much.
never want to do it again.
And except for we forgot the post-credit scene. Picks back up from the intro cutscene.
Oh yeah.
Noah starts walking away towards the party where he hears his own Offseer song. And I mean, what's up with that? I mean, the only person that knows that song, the only person that could possibly play that song that isn't Noah is Mio, right? And then he disappears.
That we know of.
Yeah.
Maybe he went back in time and played Beethoven's Fifth.
Man, what a callback.
That was a great callback there, Hunter. That's well deserved there. Holy shit.
I couldn't even. It's been so long. I was struggling to remember if that was even today.
It was, but it was yeah. Well done.
Yeah.
Well, technically, it was yesterday. It's past midnight.
But it was today for me. It's always been today for me.
It's always today for Ethan.
But no, it gives me hope. It gives my poor shipping art, and also for those of you, I never really said. For in terms of what was the segment called, Hunter, where I rated the ships and video. I don't remember what it was. Was it
Ethan's shipping service?
That was it. This is at the top of the list, dude. This is like S tier. This is an S tier ship. Clear for takeoff. See it set sail. Off we go. Salu. Happy shipping, boys. Yeah, hell yeah. Whack the bottle, dude. There we go. Good job. Excellent. Top tier, bro. Top tier. Please give me an epilogue. I want them to be happy. Is it too much to ask? Please, for the love of God. Be happy. I'm not gonna lie, I've seen the photo now. I need to see the train wreck in person. I need to see this fucking whatever the hell the Xenoblade 2 relationship thing is in person. I need to see all these characters interacting with each other. Like, I have to see the tragedy.
I need that too.
I really need it.
That sounds like fun.
It sounds tragic, but also it sounds funny, so I'm all in at that point. It'll be funny. It'll be fun. Like I say, we'll have to see. Fun part is it's not over yet. Like I say,
Yeah,
DLC
we've got
to go.
a year of DLC coming out,
One there with the fuck who cares? We got the expansion. That's what we really care about. Fucking
which
challenge
has
mode,
already
cringe.
given us new lore, like how Taion has a core crystal. Apparently,
Apparently, I mentioned it in the base game. We were all apparently just really dominant.
did they?
Yeah.
What?
But there's a sentence where they mention that all Agnians have core crystals. And we just
Oh
didn't know
fuck!
those. Yeah.
I don't know how to read
Apparently, no
or
reading allowed.
listen. Apparently.
Kyle, look on the bright side. You might have the excuse of you might have missed something, dude. I literally fucking went. I hard tooth combed like through everything, and I still missed it. I was like,
Oh,
damn, bro. Didn't try hard enough. But hey,
well, that's nifty.
yeah, it's all fun, and we'll have to see. Like I say, we'll definitely cover the DLC when it comes out next year, and then we'll be
Yeah.
sad because then it will truly be over. And then
And
the
we can
hype,
say
the next
that-
arc of HGO happens. What will the next arc be?
we can look back on this game and say it was truly the Xenoblade Chronicles.
I really do hope that the DLC ends with all three of them putting their blades together and forming the Xenoblade. I really fucking hope in the cringiest way possible.
And saying we are the Xenoblade 3.
These are our chronicles.
Dun dun.
Oh, no.
Dude, my one hope for the DLC is that we learn what Noah named the Lucky Seven, and I really hope that he named it the Xenoblade, because
Yeah,
in
100%.
Xenogears, the strongest gear in that game was called the Omni Gear, and it was also referred to as the Xeno Gear. And I'm like, go
He
off.
100% called it the
Let
Xenoblade.
Noah call it the Xenoblade,
He'll 100% call it the
please.
Xenoblade. Of course he will.
I
really hope that there's a very awkward conversation about how they all talk about how they all have red swords, and they're all just like, "Oh, that's weird." And then one of them will make a joke about saying mine's bigger, and then another one of them will say, "Well, it's not the size that matters," and then no one will laugh except for the people that wrote it because they think they're the funniest fuckers ever made. Like, yeah, I can't wait.
I just want to see a scene of the three of them, like in Spider-Man No Way Home, just sitting down talking to each other.
I just genuinely, can't wait for them to be all chummy, and then as soon as Rex finds out about Miho, he's gonna go straight into like dad mode of be like, "You fucking stay away, you piece of shit," and I'm like. I want to see. That's my one hope. Is Rex is like, I want Rex to be a completely like different person, just like big Chad energy. Like that's what I want. It's just big Chad energy. Like I just want him to be the cool dad. That's what I want him to be. Just cool dad energy. Doesn't give a fuck anymore. And I want Schultz to just be a better character. Is that too much to ask for? Is that just too much to ask for? But with that ends by a fraction our longest ever episode of the HGO podcast, everybody. We beat it. 2.5 years. We did it. Xenoblade 3 takes over the top ranking for longest episode. Soon to be, will the next be overtaken? Probably Persona 6, so we got a while. Like, that'll be next.
Yeah.
That's crazy, though. Well done, everybody. I don't know why I'm saying we're proud. That means that we somehow rambled for even longer than we thought was physically possible, so. Good job. It's only by like a minute, but we did it. Fuck you. That counts. But it was fun. Super late, but it was fun.
If you'd allow me one final question for specifically for you two.
Okay.
After playing the Xenoblades, would you consider going back to either Gears or Saga?
if Saga was readily available to me right now and I had time, I would probably play them, and I wouldn't be shocked if I liked them more, even.
Never say never is that's
Yeah.
what I always say, is never say never.
It's one of those things where, I gotta go buy it off of eBay and then make the time to play it and all that nonsense. But
Yeah.
if it was like there and I could have the time, I would be down for it.
Yeah, no, like I said,
Alrighty.
never say never. I'm not opposed to it, but also I'm like, who knows? Who knows? Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. I'll see how this DLC wraps up. If it disappoints me, then no. The Monolith Soft can go fuck themselves. This ship will sail, damn it. I will be fucking making sure of that. I will see this DLC.
Or else.
If it's a fucking prequel, I will cry
Or
and I'll...
else.
Yeah. I don't make the rules, I just enforce them.
Alrighty
Harsh
then.
shipping criteria here, Carl. Harsh shipping criteria. Anyway, I guess that's our show. As always, our links are on screen. Right now, you can go and follow us on Twitter if you want to keep up to date everything on the podcast. If you made it this fucking far, thank you. I appreciate it. Enjoy your spiel, I guess, because you don't deserve a spiel. Well, yeah. Well, anyway. Gosh, what a roller coaster. But yeah, if you want to see more, you can always go follow us on Twitter at Hot Gamers Only. Subscribe to the YouTube channel at youtube.com/Hot Gamers Only. And hey, if you don't want to look at our stupid faces, that's cool too. You can head to the link tree or search for Hot Gamers Only on your favorite podcast services, such as Spotify or Apple Podcasts, you name it. We're on it. Go and give us a review if you don't mind. We'd really appreciate it. And yeah, and with that ends a fucking 3 hour and 20-minute episode of the HGO podcast. Joke's on me.
Yeehaw.
I have to somehow render this fucker. Let's go. Let's see how well
You've got
that
a
works
couple
out.
days.
Yeah, but you see, here's the thing, Kyle. I'd also like a day off. That's also true. Like, I'd like some time off. I mean, I know I actually get Monday off as well, to be honest, because of the Queen's funeral. I've dated the episode now.
Bank holiday.
Yeah, I know, right? Day off, poggers. It only happens every once in a while, but poggers, day off. But no, thank you ever so much for hanging out with us this week. You got more than you fucking bargained for. You can't say that you didn't get enough podcasts this week. But no, it's been a blast.
Oh my god. I like how this podcast going up on Monday now is going to be longer than perhaps the 2 episodes the previous week combined.
It is longer than the 2 episodes from the previous week combined.
Oh my god.
Go
Yeah.
team.
Yeah, you can also probably, the last, 2 hours and 24 minutes was best game sequel, so yeah. But no, it's been fun. Thank you ever so much for hanging out with us. We'll be back same time, same place next week for more. Hopefully my voice recovers by then, because I feel like I've talked too much. But hey, we'll see. But yeah, thank you for listening and watching. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Bye.
See ya.
Toodaloo.